Jordan's very excited. He just figured out how to turn the background in his face on his computer, so he's like a little kid right now. He's almost.
Oh yeah, dude. With Zoom, you can do like Paris in the background or whatever. I would like to get. I don't know if you guys saw my. I know Scott's on TikTok. I don't know if you've been on TikTok lately, but I had a guy. Okay, so when you do a TikTok, people can leave comments like any other social media platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
This guy was on LSD or something when he left his comment. And like my video, like if you want, a lot of my content on TikTok is like a quick, like just a 1 minute of just like some sort of positive reinforcement that I'm giving to people.
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he jumps in and he says something about, I have to read the comment. You guys have to, because this is going to lose context if I don't do this word for word.
What's your, is it? I think I found you.
TikTok is Blackbelt Jones.
Sweet.
Blackbelt_Jones.
Cool.
Jordan, you look so cute with our logo in the background there.
I love it. All right, so this guy goes. I give a video. It was something that was very positive, and I'm getting like all these likes, and everybody's like, "Oh man, I really needed that. Thank you." And then there's just one guy that chimes in, and his name is Dale Bowden. I don't even know why I'm giving him a shout out right now, but he leaves 5 stars, right? Like gives me a whole bunch of stars, and he goes, "What about when demons overrun everything? Isn't power This is how this starts, okay? He goes, what about when demons overrun everything? He goes, isn't piles of bodies in a pit the only way to survive? And my response is getting like all these likes because I give him like, instead of like just being like, dude, what are you on? I give him this like sage advice about like pit piles.
That's amazing.
Even the beard struggle, like that one, that was awesome. Like my rebuttal was amazing.
Yeah, I posted an epic TikTok yesterday. I did a short because I filmed the whole tour of my podcast setup.
I saw that. I saw the Instagram like teaser of it.
Yeah. So then I also posted that on TikTok. And then I shot it on my phone, but I did it in 60 frames, so it was a little smoother. And just the way I edited it and like with the music that I chose and the transitions, like I was so hyped about it. I think I don't know if it's done too many views, but I really like how it turned out.
Did you follow me? If you follow, I'll follow you back. I don't know what's your okay. I'll add you.
I just did. I just followed you. Yeah. But same username as on Instagram, Jordan Cantillon TLT.
All right, perfect.
Sweet.
Bam.
Amazing. Look at that. Already making things happen.
Look at that, man.
Making things happen.
Amazing.
So welcome to the show, my friend. We are at the Moose Bros podcast. How's your day been?
It's been busy, man. It's been hectic. I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I've been watching my daughter all day, and it's just nonstop. You know what it is having a kid. It's like once you have a child, your life is no longer your own. It's not about you. No. And even the most minuscule task that you try to do turns into an epic adventure. Like even trying to sit down and take a shit turns into a fight. Like it turns into something intense. You can't just sit there and do what you gotta do. Like it turns into something. Something's crashing in the other room, or there's a small fire somewhere. Like it's just always something,
Totally.
But it's toughest job on the planet, but definitely the most important. Mm-hmm. And I've worked a lot of jobs, and that's definitely the hardest and most rewarding one, I guess, so far that I've ever worked.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. When I was 23, I thought I knew everything before I had a kid. I was like, I got this. The world's in the palm of my hand. And then I was told, like, hey, you're going to be a dad soon. And I immediately realized I knew nothing, and I was a moron. I had so much more to learn. I didn't know how to do a diaper. I was so concerned for months leading up. I'm like, how the fuck do you do a diaper? Thank God it's not that difficult, and it's really just the scare of that kind of stuff. And then it's, but kids in general, they're amazing. They change your entire life. For me, it's definitely been a blessing.
Absolutely. It changes your perspective on a lot of things. Like you said, at some point in time, all of us, especially when the younger audience listening, we all at one point thought we knew everything. you know. And honestly, the older you get, or even the more wise you become, you realize you just truly don't know shit. Like you don't know anything, you know. And having a kid is a life check for 100 that instantly shows you how much you do not know and are not prepared for. You know,
it's so true. So, I mean, I tell Jordan all the time when he has kids, I'll be on the other side of this podcast, still being here for him on those sleepless nights. The first couple of years, you lose many years of sleep being there for them, but it's all worth it.
Yeah. Also, by then, like, this is kind of a little bit of training of, like, late nights. Like, we were up till 1 a.m. recording the episode with Phil on Sunday. So, like, a little bit of, like, missing sleep training just from doing this podcast.
Dude, I haven't slept like I've never really had good sleep patterns. I was always somebody that kind of stayed up late anyways, but I haven't slept like a functional human being for probably at least 16 years. No bullshit, because I worked, when I first got into the medical field, I started off as a EMT paramedic, started working on the ambulances. And when you first get in, like, you don't get good hours. You have to work overnights. So I worked overnights, graveyard shift. And then, I worked for the fire department. When I worked for I don't know how it is in Canada, but like the fire department is 24 hours on, 48 hours off.
Okay.
So I would work 24-hour shifts, and I'm just the luckiest guy on the planet. So I would always get the busy houses, like in the middle of the ghetto, So I didn't sleep good then. And then while I was in the fire department, that's when I had my daughter. And so I don't know what sleep is anymore, to be honest with you. I micro sleep. I take like little mini sleeps, and that's about it. That's what I function off of, which is terrible from an athletic perspective. No, seriously, like I said on the radio show, like if I had one downfall or one thing that like really hinders my my performance and my abilities, it said I don't get enough rest and recovery. I don't get the amount of sleep that I should for as hard as I train and what I do.
That makes sense. I mean, you are a very busy man. I mean, when a 24/7 shift, that's hard to. My God, there's no way that you rest because you're always on high alert, ready to go in case something happens. And then, like you said, you're a paramedic. So, I mean, that's a stressful job in itself. I can't imagine after a 12, 16, 20-hour shift, you go home and exactly crash right away. You probably need to wind down.
Oh yeah. So I'd work 24s, and now that 24 hours is only, and of course, as lucky as I am, right, that 24 hours is only up if your replacement shows up on time. And I've worked up to like, I think it was like a 31 or 32 hour shift before, because they didn't have a replacement for me. I'm not blessed like that. Like I can't just like hit a pillow and start falling asleep. Like I have to unwind. I got to screw around on my phone, watch some TV. Like I need to decompress for a while. And you are on high alert. Like when you're in the fire department, you're just, I mean, dude, you can't do anything. Like you sit down to eat. I can't remember if I've ever had a warm meal in the fire department, because you'll sit down to eat and then boop, the tones go off and you got to dip. You got to go. It's stressful. I actually went to a doctor after being like, it was probably 2 years or so, in 2 or 3 years in the fire department already. And he said my adrenal glands were damaged. My adrenaline glands were damaged from always being so, on the go. So I had to take like medication to kind of like reset my adrenal glands and stuff.
That's crazy. That's the first time I've ever heard of such a crazy situation where somebody's adrenal glands have to essentially be relaxed.
Yeah, man, it happens. Like people that have PTSD and stuff, it just occurs because you're like anything else. Like you can damage parts of your body. You can damage your liver, you could damage your heart, and you can damage your adrenal glands if you're somebody that's always on the go. And like I had the stress of being a firefighter paramedic. At the same time, I was still training and fighting, for like MMA and kickboxing and stuff. So, that's high stress. No normal human being is just comfortable doing that stuff. It does take its stress, and, it has a stress factor on you, obviously. Yeah. And then having a kid, like stress is my baseline. You know what I'm saying? So
Cool.
my adrenal glands just said, "Fuck it, we're out." They just said,
We're out.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome. So you were mentioning that you've been a paramedic, you've been in the fire department, you're a father, so you clearly have quite a bit going on. What do you like to do when you're relaxing? What is Mr. Black Belt's relaxation time if you're just shooting the shit, trying to relax, get to sleep? You said that you watch some TV. Is there a show that you're into lately? I know Jordan's into Vikings. He won't leave that alone.
Vikings is excellent. Vikings is excellent. So unfortunately, like I don't have time to. What I really like to I like to just do. I'm fortunate, I guess, that like I enjoy training. I enjoy so like the things that are my work and what I'm always doing are things that bring me pleasure and joy. You know.
Yeah.
But as far as like to just straight like decompress, like I love like reading a good book, listening to music. Like I'm an audiophile, man. I'm really big into music. I'll listen to vinyl or like, whatever, go through playlists and stuff. I don't always have the time to do that. And then when it comes to TV, like everybody's always like, oh, did you watch this TV show, that TV show? Bro, I don't have time to do that. So when I do watch a show, it's got to be like one thing and I have to like binge through it. So I'm definitely on Vikings. Like I wrote all the way through Vikings. I haven't seen any of the season 6 yet. Okay. But I'm all the way through season 5 on Vikings. I like some Supernatural. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that in Canada.
Yeah. I've heard of it.
Supernatural. Supernatural is cool. And then other than that, man, like I'm a movie person. I'll sit down and watch movies and stuff, but I love a good book, good movie. If I watch a show, it's got to be truly captivating. Like it's got to be something that because I have to choose wisely what I apply my free time to,
For sure.
Absolutely. You only got so much time in a day.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan understands that. He's been fighting with his computer all day.
Yep. Yesterday too. Trying to get the 4.5 hour epic podcast episode with Phil like uploaded because I had to take it down yesterday because it got blocked for copyright because we watched the UFC fight during the podcast, and so I had to take it down, edit out the fights, and then re-export it, which took probably 3 hours because my computer is old and slow and doesn't do well with 32 gigabyte files.
Yeah, the copyright stuff kills me, man. Like, Scott knows my Celine Dion thing with the So I have this obsession with Betty White, and I basically did this I did this this post for her. And it was an Instagram story post, so it wasn't anything crazy. It's gone in 24 hours anyways. And Instagram banned it because of the Celine Dion Titanic song was playing in the background.
Celine Dion's a bitch.
Yeah,
I control music, but you can't use it.
Yeah. I tried to do a live reaction to one of Logic's albums when it first came out. So I was on Instagram Live and I was listening to the album, and like halfway through it was like your live stream has been stopped due to copyright music being played or something like that. And I was like, man, I was upset about that.
You were.
Yeah, it was unfortunate, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that hinders me when I do like my online workouts. Like I want to do more stuff where I'm showing like the public what I do, but I play music when we train. I'm really big into having music in what we do.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, Facebook's, Instagram, they kill it. They put an axe on it. They'll just they'll either make the video go silent, which loses its like gusto, you know what I'm saying? It's not as intriguing if it's dead silent when we're hitting pads and stuff,
Yeah, exactly.
And,
it's hard to show the power in a punch when the guy hits the pad and nothing comes back. There's no sound of anything.
Well, not even that. Like the power and stuff is cool, but I mean, just like I more just want to show like the vibe of the training environment. And when you can hear like a pin drop, like it just kills, and it just bothers me. What really bothers me is it's like, we'll go back to Celine Dion for a second because I'm mad at her for the moment.
Of course.
I'm not, Celine, baby, if you're watching, I'm sorry. I'm more mad at your record label for putting the axe on my Betty White video. But you're going to tell me she didn't make enough money already off that song that I can't use 10 seconds of it? I can't use 10 seconds of it to tell Betty what's up. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm sure Betty White appreciates the love. I mean,
For sure.
You know, Betty White's a nice-looking older woman. You're a strapping young fellow with a handsome, legendary beard and a fighting background. I don't see why she wouldn't be happy to see that you're giving her some love.
Well, and I think it would bring that song back. Like, so everybody heard that. Like, if that video went viral, Celine would start getting more hits on that song again. You know,
it revive her career.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, what you could consider, like what I do for my videos, I use this website called Epidemic Sound, and you pay like a subscription fee for it, but then you get access to a ton of music, and it's a
license-free website.
Yeah, and it doesn't like bite you for copyright, and it's like that's what we've been using for the podcast, and that's what I've been using on like my personal YouTube channel for the past few years, and it has like tons of different genres, like tons of different ones, and then it also, the other cool thing is it has a bunch of sound effects too. So if you want to like if like the sound of the punch that you're getting doesn't sound quite right, like straight out of the microphone or whatever, like audio you're using to record, like you can find them here, and it'll sound like professional. So it might be worth checking out if you're like looking for something to use music in your videos.
That's dope, man. Yeah. I have like some copy or some license-free music that I can utilize, but it's a very limited selection. But something like that will be I'll definitely check that out, because one of the things I want to do is I want to film I have some YouTube instructionals and stuff, technique instructionals, but I want to film like an entire like workout or like a full instructional, and I can't do it without music. I need music.
For sure.
Music is a part of my soul. Like it's part of my training regimen. It gets me ready for fights. It helps me prepare, for everything. And I need music, man. So if I can get some license-free music, that'd be dope.
Yeah. I'll send you the link after the podcast. But yeah, it's really good.
And you were mentioning that you have yourself a match coming up there soon. Like you need the music for training and everything. But obviously, we've talked prior to the podcast. You were telling us that you're going to be competing, hopefully, again coming up soon.
Yeah. So prior to the whole COVID thing going on, life was amazing. My gym was filled with people. I had the radio show thing going. I had my sponsorships going. My fan base was growing. On March 28th, I was supposed to do a submission only event, which submission only is one of the only categories of combat sports that I don't have a title in. Because everything I've ever competed in, I've been allowed to strike. So I'm a multiple-time state, national, and international full-contact fighting champion. I've competed in full-contact karate, full-contact kickboxing. I fought Sanshao. If you guys aren't familiar with Sanshao rules, probably the most famous Sanshao fighter that crossed over to MMA was Kung Lee. Sanshao is essentially Muay Thai, so you have all your punches, kicks, knees, and elbows, but you also have wrestling takedowns. And it's really cool because the ring that you fight in is called the Lei Tai. It's called the platform, the Lei Tai platform. Yeah. And it's 3 feet off the ground. So it's an elevated platform with no ropes. So you can knock your opponent out of the ring or tackle him or whatever you got to do to get him out of the ring. And if you knock him out of the ring 3 times, well, first off, if he falls out of the ring and falls on his neck, he's probably done, right? But if you bully him out of the ring 3 times, that counts as a knockout because you showed dominance. So it adds a whole other element.
Even if you go in there and you essentially just grab the guy and just run him off the mat, so to speak, that would
there it is, Sanda. Yep. Yeah, you could literally like just run up, grab the dude, and just chuck him out of there. And if you toss him out of there 3 times, you dominated. They're like, yeah, that's it, you won.
so dope.
Yeah, dude. So it adds a whole nother element to the combat, you know, because one of the things that I teach is a lot of what I teach, like my people, is very much self-defense based. And whether you're fighting in self-defense or in a cage or in a ring, you need situational awareness. Course, so you need to know when, like, if let's say, for example, we're fighting on a cliff for whatever reason, I need to know if my back foot is about to fall off the cliff, because then I'm falling off this cliff, you know? So you need to be very aware of where you are in the ring, you know?
Have you fought anybody on a cliff?
Oh, man, no, but I would like to, though. So there's Kung Lee there. So for many years, I wanted to, like, and I guess it's, you know, I haven't thought about this in a long time, but I guess it's still in the back of my head. I've always wanted to fight on a rooftop where there's gravel, so that you're like sliding while you're fighting.
Oh, I understand. That'd be sweet.
Yeah, and then maybe like a subway, like an empty subway with trains zooming by like every couple of minutes, you know. Something like that. I want some just like extreme. So yeah, Sanshao kickboxing, man. It's not as well known as like Muay Thai, but Sanshao is and Sanda. They also call it Sanda. Is the shit, dude. Like it's really good. Like it's you know, like I said, all Muay Thai rules apply. Like you have the clinch game, knees, elbows. You got all your boxing techniques, all your kicks. But then you also have wrestling takedowns as well. The only catch is with the wrestling takedowns, your knee can't touch the ground. So I can't like level change shoot like for like a blast double. You have to like come down, scoop, and then boom them. And then you get into like a little grappling exchange, and then they stand you back up. So there's no submission attempts while you're you can't go to the ground and then submit. You can just slam them and then stand back up. And the reason they do that in that rule set is to keep the action going. It's Sanda and Sanshao is all about just keeping the fight going.
Interesting.
So there's very little like pausing, you know.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, so I've done that, fought MMA, and then so anyways, back to, I know I went on a tangent there, and I tend to do that, but
that's what we do here.
When I'm passionate, that's what I do.
That's what we do here.
Yeah. But yeah, so kickboxing, MMA. The only things I don't truly have I don't have a title in is just a straight up boxing match, and a submission only event. And yeah, so that's what I want. I want that when it's all said and done, when I'm going to hang up my gloves, and my goals are a little different than most people, right? When I like walk away from this life, I want to have fought in every form of combat that interests me, but at the highest level. So for example, I want to go to like Ireland and bare knuckle box an Irish boxer.
Cool.
I want to go to Brazil and you know, grapple against you know, even though I've grappled with Brazilians here, you know, but I want to go to like the heart of Brazilian jiu-jitsu and face, you know, and do an event there. I want to go to Japan and do full contact karate against a true Japanese, you know, karate fighter, things like that. I want that type of adventure, you know.
That's a very pure and cool adventure, and I respect that a lot. Going to the pure discipline of where it took root and branched off into the world, and then going right there and trying to find the best, because that's most likely where the very best are.
Exactly. Well, I just want the full experience, you know, because I mean, obviously, it's not hard to get a fight. Like if you want to get a fight, like if someone wanted to, I mean, it is hard. I shouldn't take away from that. Like obviously, you have to train. I'm not talking about that kind of stuff, but I'm saying like if you want to do like fight at like we have a place here in Tampa, it's like Newport Richie, which isn't a very graceful part of town, right? They have a like I can go get a fight in Newport Richie, no problem, fighting in like some bar, you know what I'm saying?
Totally. Yeah.
I could do a cage fight at some like, you know, lower tier event, no biggie. I can get that tomorrow, you know, well, not now because of COVID, but I can set that up relatively
at some
easy.
Point.
Correct. But like to get like, man, to go to like, you know, Ireland and set up like a boxing match like that, like that's there's some prestige to that, you know?
Totally. Of course. And like you're saying, going to the homeland, like to fight the Irish boxer, that would be, it really adds to the journey and the story of it, right? So
absolutely.
I respect that a ton.
Absolutely. Will I do all of that? Maybe not. but at least, you know, I'm going for it. You know, I'm trying things. I'm walking a road less traveled in my life. I'm doing things that a lot of people just kind of like talk about doing. And one thing that I've never wanted to be was just the guy that just talks. You know, it's like if I say something, like I'm doing it. I'm going for it. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Would you say that that's a bit of an issue in today's world, that there's a lot of people that just say they're either going to do something or like, hey, I have this idea, and they don't follow through on it? And it's just really disappointing to see after a while, because you're like, A, either that would have been a really cool story, B, that person had a lot of potential, or C, I saw the potential of that idea, and the fact that it's not being followed through is just kind of, it's disheartening to see.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think it's something that's been going on since like the beginning of time. People have been full of shit, but I think we've reached like pinnacle.
Yeah.
We've reached like peak full of shit. Like people saying, "Oh, I'm doing this and that," and they don't do shit. You know, they're not about that shit. Like I think we've reached peak of like, yeah, man, we've reached peak of people just like not being true to their word. You know, and that drives me crazy. Because my moral compass is like super fine tuned, I think, anyways. You know, maybe it's not, but in my belief is, I'm like, dude, if you're saying that you're gonna do something, go do it. Like, don't talk, go do it. You got one life to live. Like, why are you just sitting here talking shit? Go do something.
For sure.
Totally. So when do you have any students that come to? I wouldn't say any students that come to mind, but is there any? Have you had an experience with somebody that came into your gym and they're like, oh, yeah, I want to be the next UFC champion. Oh, yeah, this is going to be great. And it's been a little bit more of a humbling experience knowing that they have some time they need to actually put into martial arts. I know when I was a trainer, I've had students that came into my gym and I got, you know, because I worked at the UFC gym, so we saw the big gold belt right there. You have the kids coming in off the road. My mom and dad told me I could be the champion. And you're like, yeah, of course, for sure, man. And you get into class and they already think they know everything. Back to the thinking they know everything.
Yeah, man. Many times. Not whether when I was training at other gyms, and then when I went and did my own thing. You know, I knew when I was, especially being an independent, like I'm not part of like some a franchise and nothing against that. Like nothing against being part of a UFC gym or like an ATT or something like that. But I don't have like a brand backing me, you know? So being an independent gym, what happens is you get dojo stormed. And for those that aren't familiar with being dojo stormed, like it's basically people coming in to see like if you're real, you know? Or like I'll get a guy that like trains at like American Top Team, and guys do this shit all the time. Like this is stuff that people don't realize that goes on like in the fight world or like martial arts world, right? A guy will be training at like a big name gym. And let's say he's like a medium-sized fish in that pond and he thinks he should be a bigger fish in the pond. They will then go and like sneak and like visit other gyms and like try to like beat up like an instructor, like guys at the other gyms.
Wow, really?
To like challenge them to be like, yeah, I went to that gym and I kicked this guy's ass. So like, we call them gym wars, you know? And I've been in quite a few of those where like a guy came from like another gym or, you know, somebody calls me up and like, hey, yeah, I want to do a pro fight. I want to see if I'm good enough or whatever. And I always, I try to be pretty humble with everybody. And I'm like, well, look, man, like the rule at my gym, like when you come in and train with me, like I don't care where you've trained before, you don't go right into sparring. Like I got to see your technique. I got to see that you have a level of control. I want to make sure you're not going to hurt yourself. You're not going to potentially hurt one of my guys that I've been training and has been learning the right way. And I want to make sure it's not going to turn into just an all-out brawl when we're sparring, you know? Mm-hmm. But some people want to go, and then some people you got to teach a lesson. Two stories come to mind. One, or the more recent ones, anyways. I had an Aikido guy come into the gym, or he was all about like wrist locks and shit, right? And he was like, and he did my. He came to like maybe 3 sessions with me, like the group sessions. And he did, so he sat through like two jujitsu classes or submission wrestling classes with me, and 2 kickboxing sessions with me. Yeah. And then he was like, yeah, man, but what would you do like in a real fight? And I was like, what do you mean in a real fight? He goes, well, like I was like, bro, listen, first off, I've done personal security and I've done bouncer work. I have used this stuff in a street environment. I don't just use this like on a mat, you know? And, don't get it twisted. The Kimura that I would use to end you in a submission wrestling match is the same Kimura that I will throw on a guy in the street if I have to take a knife out of his hand. You know what I'm saying? So he's like, but yeah, I would just like wrist lock. And I was like, look, wrist locks, and there's nothing against wrist locks, they work, right? But all that Aikido shit, we'll get to that, right? So I was like, but fast forward. I was like, try and wrist lock me. That wrist lock stuff is going to work on against a guy that doesn't know nothing, that he's just leaving his hands just hanging out.
Yeah.
Against a high level fighter, you're not just going to grab his wrist and wrist lock him, bro. You're not going to Steven Seagal the guy. You know, and he's like he, you know, he was getting all like, you know, puffy, like, you know, about it. And I was like, try and wrist lock. I was like, dude, I won't even try to submit you. I was like, I will just roll for position on you. Try and wrist lock me. And I rolled his ass up and down the mat. Right. So, and he got really pissed when I was just kind of like in like seated guard, and I was just sitting down waiting for him to come at me. Like I didn't even bother trying to take him down. He's like, don't just give it to me, dude. And I was like, I'm not, bro. Just go. You know, just
go.
And yeah. So needless to say, he stopped coming. He didn't train anymore.
Fair enough. I love it. That's hilarious.
And then
I remember I had a guy come into my gym, and he was one of those guys that you'd be sparring with him. You know, you'd be sitting there, you'd throw a jab, you throw your punch, and then you throw a body kick, and the body kick hits him. You use the other two punches to set him up. And he would stop the sparring match, and he'd be like, well, wait. You know, if you did that, I could have just spinning back fist, and I could have fucking ended you, bro. And it's like, do it. Please do it. You keep doing these sparring matches with this guy, and he's like, oh yeah, but right here, I could have punched you in the solar plexus, bro. And like, you wouldn't have known the pain that would have caused. And I'm like, I understand what you're saying. How does my 10-finger guillotine choke feel?
Right. Yeah, I mean, that goes back to just people being full of shit and not being able to back it up, you know. That reminds me of, I had a guy one time, it wasn't at my gym, it was when I was training at another gym at the time. I was like up and coming. I don't think I had even done I had won a full contact karate tournament at that point, but I hadn't done any just like pure kickboxing or MMA yet.
Yeah.
It was my first time training at like a real like MMA gym that I was at.
Mm.
And the gym had like a sister gym in New Jersey or New York, something like that. Mm. And one of the guys from over there came down and started like, he was visiting for like 2 months or something, and he was training with us. And he was like, you know, he walked on the mat like he was hot shit. And then he was like, I was just trying to just say hi to him. And he would always just be like, yeah, what's up, bro? You know, something like that. And then he'd be like, and then I was trying to be like, just to converse with him, like, oh, so, you know, what's the gym like where you guys are? And he goes, you know, we compete like all the time, bro. Like we fight all the time. Like he was just, you know, pumping it up. Like it was just like insane. I was like, oh, okay, cool. So then we go and we're sparring, just kickboxing at this point. It wasn't MMA. So we're kickboxing, and I always go the intensity, even if it's a pro fighter, I go the intensity that my opponent or my partner is going with me. Mm-hmm. If that partner starts swinging to try to like drop me, well, then I'm going to start turning up the intensity too. I'll give you like a warning shot, you know, and then after that, like we're thumping, you know. And I thought we were just kind of going light and technical, and he starts trying to like crack me in the body, and I go, okay, all right. So then we're going, and I just pop him with a jab one time. And you see it like kind of like touch his lip. We start going, we're squaring off again. We start throwing hands. Same thing. He starts trying to go to rep me again. That was his warning shot. He tries to go to rep me again. I slip, boom, I crack him. And he goes, hey bro, let's watch the head contact. Like he tells me not to hit him in the head. Right? And I go, we sparring or what? And I was like, okay, so we're just doing like body shots. Like, you know that episode of Friends where they're like, let's just hit to the body. Yeah. So I'm like, that's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, so we're just doing body shots. Like, all right, so I'm going to lighten up on him and hit him in the body. And of course, what does he do? He goes to swing up top. So I'm like, okay, I gotta like drop this guy at this point. So drop him. His head gear goes spinning right as he hits the ground, and he's like, "Bro, I thought we weren't hitting to the head," and I was like, "Dude, you initiated this, you know? Don't start some, you know, that don't start nothing won't be nothing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that kind of motto."
that's hilarious.
It's amazing.
So, no, martial arts is a weird thing. You know, when I was in it as a younger kid, I tried to use it for self-defense. I still got beat up a lot in school, but it did help. And oddly enough, like once I left school, I lost all my weight. Martial arts really started taking up and becoming a staple in my life. So it's funny from going from that vacuum of no self-esteem to somebody that now knows how to fight, and occasionally I jump in a cage and do it for fun. It'll be a little while till I get back in there. I have to drop some weight and whatnot. I'm trying to get to like 135, 145 pounds for my weight class. I'm curious, what weight class are you hoping to continue to compete at, or are going to compete at, or are you changing, or what's your situation?
So, since I compete in different combat sports, the weight classes are different. It's not like the universal rules or weight classes that are like in MMA. So, for example, when I did when I fought Sanshao, I competed in the weight class was considered, it's called heavy C. And it's actually like the third or fourth heaviest weight class that there is for that type of fighting. And heavy C is 175.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So, yeah, you know, the weight classes are a little different. Boxing, you know, is a little different. They have like a 190-pound weight class, things are 191 cruiserweight stuff. But yeah. But yeah, so as far as and then even grappling and MMA, the weight classes are a little different. So for jiu-jitsu, or for submission wrestling rather, what I'm going to do is my plan is in July 25th is when I should be, as long as mandates allow us to start competing again. July 25th, I should be doing a submission tournament for Grappling Industries, and I'm going to be competing at middleweight, so I'll be 185.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'll go up a weight class. I fought MMA at 185, but I'm honestly I'm a small middleweight. You know, I would be better suited. I would be better suited for a catch weight. Like if they had like a 180-pound weight class or something, that would be ideal for me.
You're an in-betweener.
Right. So I have to choose. I'm like, do I make a drastic weight cut and go down to welterweight at 170, which is taxing on the body? Or do I go to 185 where I feel healthier, but I'm smaller in my weight class and I'm fighting, you know, monsters? But I'm at the point where I'm like, I'm either good at this or I'm not. So I just decided I'll just do the bigger weight class from now on.
I'm either good at this or I'm not. It's so true. You know, I've talked to a few guys that have been in the game for quite some time. And like they said, you know, to get good at it, you have to go and fight. And at some point, you're either good at it or you're not.
Yeah, and you know, weight classes make a difference, but they don't make the difference that like people. They don't, no pun intended, they don't hold the weight that you think they do, you know? Because a really, really skilled fighter is going to do well in any weight class. And that's why when in jiu-jitsu tournaments or the Abu Dhabi, you know, you have like the open and absolute divisions where there's no weight class. You know, you see who the best guy on the mat is for that day.
That's my favorite weight class, the absolutes. I love them.
Yeah. Oh, it's the most exciting to watch, man, because it's just there's so many variables, anything can happen. Now with striking, it's a little bit different because when you're striking, there's a power exchange. So what happens is, especially in the amateur levels, not so much, because you can be very lopsided with the skill set. You know, one fighter can just there's a huge skill difference, and then at that point, the weight class isn't going to matter. Okay. But now when you talk about top tier organizations, and you take two fighters that have almost the exact same knowledge and skill level, well, then that size and power advantage is going to make a difference. Of course, if you take the best lightweight boxer on the planet and you take the best heavyweight boxer on the planet and you put them against each other, the heavyweight is more than likely going to smash that guy 9 times out of 10. because they have the same knowledge and skill set. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
So when it comes to striking, it's a little bit different. Grappling, you can kind of get away with the no weight class thing. But my thing is always like, if a guy is within, because I train all the time with guys that are bigger than me, you know, and as long as I really don't have an issue as long as a guy is within like 35 pounds or so of me. It starts getting difficult when I get into like the big heavyweights, man. Like those guys are just like, it's not because of the skill. It's because the approach has to change.
Yeah.
Because like when I go to shoot, like let's say a double leg to take a welterweight or a middleweight down, or even a guy that's like 205.
Yeah. I
can usually blast through and get him down and get on top. But if your muscle memory is to drop down and blast through like that, typically on a heavyweight, what's going to happen is he's going to fall on top of you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then that's different. That's not how I intended for this to go, and my game plan has to change now. You know.
No,
we're talking self-defense. That's completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the worst spot to be is having a big man on your chest that you can't get off of you. That's just pounding your face into fucking hell.
It's pretty uncomfortable. It's pretty uncomfortable.
I've had that happen. It's just lights. The lights are just going off, and you're just sitting there doing this a lot, trying to hope to God it stops. Because eventually, after a while, even your arms aren't enough to protect you if he's a big enough guy.
Yeah, I mean, self-defense is different, but typically, like what I teach my students is in a self-defense, we call it a full fight scenario. So a full fight scenario is where strikes and grappling is going. So whether it's a mixed martial arts event or a self-defense situation, my belief is you want to be the guy that's on top. You want top position. Now, when you're playing just grappling, it's fine to play off your back. You know, you got to have a good guard game either way. You have to have a good guard, a good half guard either way. But it's okay to play off your back when you don't have to worry about getting your face caved in. But now when they cave your face in, I would definitely be trying to fight for top position at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not let them have that leverage advantage.
Gravity, man. Gravity. You know, the guy. Gravity's just crashing down on you.
So Jordan, my man, what kind of questions did you come up with for our man a black belt here? I know that you had a few questions going on before we dig in deeper and find out what's going on. Is there anything you want to touch on?
Yeah, don't be shy, baby. Don't be shy.
Alrighty, let's start with this one. What's one thing that you've learned so far in 2020?
Ooh, good one.
That it sucks.
Fair.
2020 has, I don't know if I've so much learned anything new. It is, for me, it's more reiterated and emphasized points that I already knew. One, for example, is how durable I am, because life has just been, like everyone else, it's just been kicking my ass since 2020 started. You know, between not being able to compete, business not allowed to run like it should, you know, it's been very, very challenging. And then also how when shit hits the fan, as it has in our world, you see people's true colors. You know,
absolutely.
I mean, in the U.S. specifically, and you know, I don't know how bad it was in Canada, but in the U.S. specifically, like, you know, people were beating each other up over toilet paper rolls. You know, it's absolutely ridiculous.
That's going on here too. There's old ladies getting beat up for toilet paper rolls and stuff here too.
It's disgusting. So I'm ashamed to be to say I'm a human being when I hear things like that. You know, because it's uncalled for. It's not necessary. You know, there's enough for everybody to eat. There's enough toilet paper for everybody to be able to wipe their ass. You know, it's unnecessary. But yeah, that's it, man. Just basically like reiterated things that are just like to not be in disbelief of what the human race is capable of. Now, that being said, the human race is also capable of great things. We're capable of kindness and love and very generous and great things. But we're also obviously very capable of despicable acts as well. You know, so just always be on alert. Be on alert for that. You know.
Scott, what about you?
Honestly, I have to say that the COVID thing, the whole 2020, like as much as 2020 has sucked for a lot of people, like it's actually been a really good year for me so far. Yeah, I got locked in my house for a while, and that was kind of bullshit. But you know, we started this beard ambassador program with the Beard Struggle, and it was honestly probably the best thing that's ever happened to me. My support group now is much bigger. Everything just seems to be running smoother. Legend, my son is, you know, he's 4 years old. He's blossoming. He's happier now than he ever was before. And I think a lot of it is he sees me doing well, so then he does better. And it's really cool to see your kid blossom like that when they see you doing well. And, you know, like my kid tells me days that he's proud of me. And like, how cool is that for a little kid to tell you that they're proud of you? You know, it should be the other way around. Like, you're proud of them. They learn to count 1 to 10. So 2020 with the ability to just give him all that time and grow the support group at the same time, it's been very rewarding in a parent aspect. So the value of personal quality time has been definitely recognized in 2020.
For sure.
Yeah, it's given me a lot of time with my daughter as well, and it's funny because like my daughter does similar things to that. Like she had told me today, actually. She goes, "You're the best dad." She's 3 years old, you know, and obviously I'm the only daddy she really knows. I'm her only daddy. You know, she's like, "You're the best daddy in the world," and like that's amazing to hear. But and I'm sure Scott, like as a parent, like, dude. We always feel like we're failing our kids, bro. Like this is a hard job, dude, bro. But I guess, you know, if your kid thinks you're doing good, then you're doing something right, you know?
Absolutely. It's funny you mentioned that. There is often many times that as a parent, I'm like, fuck, man, like today sucked. I didn't give them enough attention because I was busy getting this done. I had dishes and laundry, and you know, they wanted to play with me that 1 second, and I was like, hold on, sweetie. And then the moment went, and you're like, fuck, what a cool moment that probably could have been, or whatever it is. But yeah, as a parent, I think that just comes with the territory. Sometimes you feel like you're always failing, even if you're doing the absolute best that you can. So I think it just comes with the territory.
Yeah, I think the main takeaway there is that for any parent listening, we all feel like that sometimes.
Yeah,
everybody goes through that like you just feel like you're just not doing good, you know. And like everybody else, man, as a person, like we're just doing the best we can with what we've got, you know. That's it.
That's all you can do.
For sure.
What about you, Jordan? 2020, what's it taught you?
Definitely how to be productive when I theoretically have nothing to do. Cause like I've been, and also like, yeah, that for sure. But then also, just like how to manage my time better and like schedule out my day. And like, I've always known it, but like this year really like stamped it in for me that like, if I don't have anything to do, I'm just bored. So like having things to do is a much better way to live, like for me, versus just kind of like sitting around like playing video games all day. Like I'm doing this. I'm like churning out videos, editing podcasts, like making thumbnails, like contacting like future guests for the podcast. So I have like my days are pretty full. Like, so I don't have a lot of time where I'm just like sitting around twiddling my thumbs, which has been cool.
Yeah, I think all three of us are kind of like that, you know, like attracts like, you know, and yeah. I think all three of us are just kind of like the kind of people that like, we want to be accomplishing something, you know, we don't want to just sit around and just play a video game. You know, we want to do something, be a part of something that's, you know, bigger and better and try to do something, whether it's to provide for your kid or to, you know, create your podcast, whatever it is. Like we all just like, we all want to be doing something, you know, so I guess that's a plus. We're not just losers sitting around doing nothing. So.
Well, I wanted to touch on that as well. Like Jordan puts in a ton of effort when it comes to our editing and making sure that everything gets done for the podcast. So I know people listening probably think like, oh, Jordan just gets to sit on his computer and fuck around and watch YouTube videos and fucking jerk off to porn. And no, he's a busy man. He's constantly, you know, hey, I got to work on this and I got to work on this. Then he has all of his own content he's working on to keep himself busy. And then I got all my own content and we collab and we work with other people. Sometimes I think that this is, and most rightfully, it's probably harder than a real job some days for you, Jordan, because I mean, you put in more hours than a normal job would require.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I got another question here. What's one interesting or like obscure fact that like not a lot of people know about you?
Ooh, an obscure fact. So many, dude.
We know about your love for Betty White.
Betty White, yeah. You know, probably that. I guess the biggest thing I'm trying to think of, because dude, I just have so many stories about a lot of things, but I guess one thing that usually throws people off is the fact that I'm my bloodline is Hispanic. So I'm Cuban. I speak fluent Spanish. Spanish was actually my first language. I can speak three languages. I can speak English, Spanish, and Portuguese pretty good.
Oh, cool.
And then I can understand and speak little like phrases, and I'm decent. And like a little bit of Japanese and
cool.
like Italian, you know.
Yep,
but
cool.
for sure, like English, Spanish, and Portuguese, I can speak very, very well.
That's dope.
And yeah, so I mean, I was the first of my family that was born on American soil. The rest of my family was actually born in Cuba.
Oh wow.
So I was the first one born on American soil, and like first one to like really go to college. Even though I didn't get like a bachelor's degree or anything like that, but I went to college and like became a firefighter paramedic. So I went like the technical route,
Yeah.
But went to higher education, I guess I should say.
Cool.
And yeah, man, I guess that would probably be it. SOS.
That's cool.
That's super cool.
Scott, what about you? Oh, all right, I can go. Scott, I told you this recently, but not a lot of people know that I'm the oldest of, what is it? I'm the oldest of 11 cousins, like, and then and as well as the oldest of my 3 siblings.
Right, that's a lot of people.
God, that's a big Thanksgiving.
Yep. Yes, it is. That's probably one for me. Scott, what about you?
Oh, there's so many things about me that sometimes I don't want to share, and then you ask me these questions, and I have to. I'd have to probably let people know I've dressed up like a woman more times than I would like to admit. Many times throughout growing up, I dressed up as a woman for shits and giggles. Oddly enough, it was a weird thing my friends and I did for like. We were 15 and like we would dress up as women and go stand on the side of the road and wave at cars. We thought it was fucking hilarious. And you would just see these people drive by and they're just all fucked up and not sure what to do. And yeah, that was a weird thing we did for like 3 weeks. I don't know what the fuck that was about, but we did that. So yeah, I've dressed up as a woman a little bit more often than I would care to admit.
Interesting.
Indeed, yeah, I guess we can.
That's funny. What's been your favorite job that you've ever had?
Oof. Well, being a father, hands down. And that is a job. That is a hardcore job.
An absolute job.
And then other than that, like if we're talking about an actual job that like produced income, because that takes income from you. Something that I've done that has produced income is just being a teacher. I'm just by nature a teacher. Like if I wasn't like coaching or doing mixed martial arts, I would be teaching something. I just get a joy from teaching people things. So like a couple of days ago, I was teaching a couple friends of mine. People are getting really big with everything going on right now, the riots and the way the state of the world is. People are starting to wake up a little bit and realize they need to take their self-defense a little bit more seriously. So a lot of people are purchasing firearms now, but they don't know how to operate them. One of my sponsors is Florida Firearms Academy here in Tampa, and I do some. One of my sponsors that helps me out with my MMA and martial arts career and everything is a Firearms Academy. and I've actually taught I've taught defensive tactics out of there. I teach a defensive tactics class out of there every once in a while.
Oh, cool.
And I also do competitions out of there. I've done some competitive shooting. So, anyways, I love teaching people how to operate their weapons, so that they're safe. You know, it's not, you shouldn't be scared. Don't be scared of it. You need to know how to use it. You know?
For sure.
But yeah, just being a teacher, you know, teaching martial arts, and if I had to pick, like, dial that in even further, it would have to be my kids class. I love teaching children.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Scott, what about you?
I'd probably have to say that my favorite job was, as much as I hate this job as well, was like I did work in the adult film industry for a year. And when I first got involved in that, I was like, this is fucking disgusting. I can't believe I do this for a living. But surprisingly, there was a lot of life lessons that came out of that year that I really applied to the rest of my life. Like, as much as you're on camera and you're doing some really odd things that, you know, people are questioning and whatnot, the people that you deal with behind the scenes, like, there are people that are complete drug addicts that are on scene. There are people that have broken homes that they're trying to recover from, and this is the only way they know how, is by putting themselves in a chaos-filled situation, but they feel like there's some control. You know, you have the sleazy producer that's trying to get as much money from you or out of you, or however that whole situation works. Yeah, so there was a lot of learning what red flags were in that year, which I wish I had paid more attention to when I decided to get married.
So, we live and we learn. That's what we do. You know, I had a talk with somebody a couple of days ago, actually, about that. I think that's why we're here. I think that's why we're on this earth, is to evolve, man. Like, to learn.
Totally.
You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, you gotta evolve and learn. But what about you, Jordan? What about what's your favorite form of employment and or job you have had?
So every summer since 2016, I've worked at a summer camp in Muskoka. I did the first summer I did 2 weeks as staff, because that's when I was doing the leaders in training program, and then the following summer I did 6 out of 8 weeks of the summer, and then the following summer was the entire eight weeks of the summer, and then last summer was 7 out of 8 weeks, and it's so tiring but so much fun.
That's super cool.
What's the age groups for the camp?
5 to 10. Yeah, so little kids, but
yeah,
so much fun.
What kind of stuff do you do with the kids when you're out at camp?
So there's like activities that run, like, and like, especially at the site that I'm at, because it's all the younger kids. It's the day is like very highly scheduled. So like have like breakfast and then like some other stuff in the morning, and then we'll have like 2 activity periods. So you can do like archery, canoeing, kayaking, sailing, like that kind of stuff. So I typically taught canoeing or sailing, just because that's like my favorite things to do, is like be by the water, because like I've spent lots of time like on boats like my whole life, because my dad's always loved sailing and like boats in general. So I've always really enjoyed like being on the water like all summer, teaching like sailing and that kind of stuff. That's probably one of them. I also worked in an escape room a couple years ago, which was pretty fun.
That's cool.
You told me about that. What did that require of you, working in an escape room?
Honestly, it's
Make
like
sure people weren't cheating.
Yeah, that was definitely part of it. It was actually pretty chill. Like, you sit in this like little booth, and then there's security cameras in the room, and you can see the security cameras like on a monitor in front of you, kind of like I'm sitting here at my desk. And then so you can see what they're doing, and then you have a phone with you, and the people in the room can like call you and like ask you for a hint if they're like totally lost. So basically my job was to sit there and watch them do the room, and then if they needed a hint, answer the phone and like help them out with the hint, and then when they were done the room, reset it for another group, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
All that power.
You feel like Jigsaw? Did you feel like Jigsaw from Saw? You were like, I control these people and their fate.
Let's play a game.
Let's play a game, fuckers.
Yeah, it's pretty fun. I think the I think the escape room that I worked at, they're expanding to another site, so I might be once they open back up, which I'm hoping should be this summer. Because like in Guelph, we're into phase 2 now, so there's like more businesses opening back up. So if they do end up opening back up, I might be going back to work for them because they're going to need more staff because it's going to be, I think they're going to have like 4 or 5 rooms instead of like the 3 that they have now. So hopefully I can get back to doing that. Yeah, that was really fun.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm. What's kind of going in a different direction? What's one beard growing / beard care tip that you've learned since you started growing your beard?
Ooh, man. So this podcast is going to make me sound like I've just like done so many things. So probably another thing that a lot of people don't know about me is I was a barber for a long time. So and actually I have the YouTube tutorials that I did called the Ultimate Beard Guide.
Oh, cool.
And that was like the main, obviously, like, you know, my hair you wouldn't know, but like I got some serious fade skills. But what I really got known as in the barbershop scene was being like the beard smith. Like I would have guys lined up on a Saturday. Like I would have 20 dudes just waiting for me to like, dude, please, because you know, as you know, most guys they're scared to touch their beard, bro, because your beard is such a big part of your identity, you know, and they're so scared that they're going to hack it off and then have to go clean shaven, and nobody wants to go clean shaven, you know.
Nobody.
Nope.
So I would have like a line of dudes, like I'd have people booking me out like weeks in advance to do their beards up. But beard growing tip that I would that I learned along the way. I mean, learned a lot along the way. Would probably have to be using good products. Like this isn't just a plug for the beard struggle, but good products make a tremendous difference. You know, why don't, and I talked about this during one of my YouTube videos too, is like, why don't women use, for the most part, dollar store shampoo and conditioner? Because they don't want dollar store hair. You know what I'm saying? You talk to your chick and she's like, I bought, how much, you don't want to see the receipts for what she paid for her shampoo and conditioner. You know, $80 for conditioner, you know?
Jeez.
But there's a reason that they pay for these high quality products, because it does make a difference, you know? So using good products makes a tremendous difference on what you're trying to achieve. Now, if you don't care and you just want to throw something in there, that's fine. But if you want a quality, if you want the beard of legend, right, you gotta use good products and you have to tend to it. And whether I'm cutting my own beard or I'm doing a friend's, I'm cutting a client's hair or whatever, I look at it like a bonsai tree. Like it needs to be shaped, it needs to be given love. You know what I'm saying? Like you got to. It's a living thing, dude. You can't just like cut it and think that's it. Like you got to go. Everybody's scared that the direction grows. Like how Scott would need his beard cut is different than how you or I need my beard cut. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
And you have to like make sure you follow that accordingly. You know?
For sure.
I remember when I went to Blackbelt one time and I asked him a question, and I felt so racist when I asked him the question because I think it came out wrong. But I'm like, why don't Asian people grow beards? And essentially, like, I had to look it up later, and I was like, oh shit, it's just the way the genetics go. Like,
genetically, yeah. There's only so much you can compensate for. Yeah.
That's right. And I felt so bad at it, but it was so kind. He has so much knowledge. I appreciate you for that, sir.
Anytime, man. Anytime. And that's I think I'm fairly approachable. At least I don't know, I must be, because so many people, I can't even tell you the level of like private messages I get or private conversations I have. People asking me just like all kinds of, sometimes it's like really deep, like personal shit. And then sometimes it's like, hey, this part of my lip doesn't grow in. Like, what can I do about that? You know? Feel free to come to me with anything. you know, and for one, know that it stays between us. Like nobody would have ever known that me and Scott had that Asian conversation if he wouldn't have said anything, right? So whatever you say stays with me. And then two, like I'm not going to think anything that you ask is a dumb question, you know?
No, you're
That's
very,
cool.
very sweet that way, sir. As far as I go for beard care and trimming and whatnot, you got to keep it in check. You know, if you let it go, if you get lazy, that's the big thing. Consistency, like anything in life, right? If you want to get better at it, if you want to look your best, you got to have consistency. So you start out with a little bit, you know, like right here, I started out with the day oil. I tried that and I was like, oh man, I really like this. My beard feels soft and you know, consistency. Then I tried something else, saw the improvement of my beard. But the one thing that I think quarantine definitely messed with for all of us was making sure that our beard stayed trimmed. So like many other people, I tried looking up tutorials online. I tried doing things myself, and very much like what our friend's talking about, I don't want to hack off my beard and have to go clean shaving. No man wants to go clean shaving. So really taking the time to watch other people, watch tutorials, and then do the best you can. And if you don't know something, go to somebody that does. If a video is not quite doing it, wait until the barbershop opens up again, or find somebody that's nearby that has some experience in it and just talk to them about it. Knowledge is power. So consistency and knowledge with power makes a beautiful beard made with these products. So.
For sure. What scents you got there? What's sitting there on the table?
Right here, I got my Viking Storm.
Yep.
Viking Storm. And I have Asgardian Secret right here. In the
Man, you know, I haven't tried that one yet. I got to try Asgardian Secret.
Yep.
I must say, it is a bit of a sweeter scent. It's not too overpowering. But my favorite thing about it is that the next morning when I go to shower, the scent explodes when the hot water hits me. And I'm like, yes, you didn't go anywhere. You were still doing your job the entire time, which is always
I find the Ragnarok finale is a sweet scent too. Like it kind of reminds me. You tried Ragnarok? Yeah. It kind of it reminds me of like a dessert almost.
Yeah.
When you very, very sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. I found a couple days ago, I was like, oh, let's try, because I've been starting to use the wash and conditioner in my hair just because, like, why not? Just try it out. And
told you to. I told you to, Jordan.
That was on Scott's suggestion. And I found that like a couple days ago, I used Ragnarok Finale in my hair and Viking Storm in my beard, and the two scents pair quite nicely together, I found.
Beautiful.
Yeah, you're gonna find that they can blend well together. I don't know if I should give away too many trade secrets. I don't know. You know what? I like you guys, so I'm gonna give away. For you guys, I'll tell.
Ooh.
But okay. So from the beard struggle, this is knowledge right here. You ready? All right. One scent that people truly sleep on is the low-key unscented.
Oh,
okay. First off, it is not completely unscented. It is a completely natural smell. So you can smell. I actually enjoy the smell of it by itself, right?
Interesting.
But then if you take a scent like, for example, I use Odin's Virtue.
That's my next one. Yeah.
Odin's Virtue is excellent, but it is a very powerful, potent scent, right?
Okay.
So sometimes what you can do is you take a couple drops of the Odin's Virtue and then drop some low-key unscented in there to cut it so that it's not as strong. But you're still getting that, but you're still getting that high-quality oil in your beard because it's all the same product. It's all high quality, right?
Yeah, okay.
And now you have all that good smell that you want, not too overpowering, and you still got that good oil sitting on your skin and in your beard.
Our man just dropped some knowledge, cutting beard oil like a professional.
That's it.
Genius.
That's it, man. Yeah.
Genius.
Or like, you know, maybe you're going, because another thing that happens too, and you know, what people don't take into consideration with your beard oil is like I use cologne. You know, I'm a cologne guy. You don't want them to conflict. You don't want to have too many smells going on. You know, you don't want to be on a date or something and like your hair gel, not that I use hair gel, but your hair gel your beard, oil that you used, and then your cologne and your deodorant, bro, you smell like those old ladies that overdid it. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to do that. So what I'm talking about. So sometimes you want to go a little milder. So go. Sometimes you can go a little milder in your beard. Go light with the cologne, and it's not too overpowering. You don't want scents to clash.
For sure.
Yeah, totally.
Mm-hmm.
So low key's a secret. Low key, keep it low key, right? It's a secret.
That's really cool, because I haven't seen a whole lot of people using like posting about low key unscented, but I have to check that out.
If you go through my Instagram and you see some of my my beard transformation videos that I do, you'll see like when I'm waving a bottle, a lot of times it's the low key that I'm using, because sometimes, like I said, it's not completely unscented. It's a very natural smell. It just doesn't have the extra essential oils in it to give it that like cinnamon or spice or whatever they do in like some of the other scents,
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a clean smell. It's nice,
That's really cool. That's good to know.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's the next one there, Jordan? What we got on there?
I got 4 more questions on my list, and then we can talk about whatever. So what does your morning routine typically look like?
Oh,
oof, man.
Tell me it's shirtless.
Yeah, for sure, bro. The only reason I'm wearing a shirt is I'm talking to you guys. I don't like. I usually don't like a shirt on me.
Okay.
Depends on the day. So we'll take tomorrow, for example, right? Or we can take today and tomorrow, for example. So, but like for today, I had to. I was watching my daughter all day, so I have to wake up and like my attention is on her. So I got to get her up, get her situated, get her morning, breakfast bottle, all that stuff. And then my day is like kind of catered towards checking my social media and all that stuff, getting all that stuff worked out, and then planning for the next couple days. And then whatever I am a fair, and I'm not saying this to boast, but like I am a fairly busy guy. I have a lot of things I have between doing training sessions, because I do in-house training sessions, online training sessions. I do private training sessions, right? So I got to take those personal one-on-one clients as well. I got to book them in. I have things going with the beard struggle, online sales and stuff that I want to stay on top of. And then all my other, social media, and we were saying, like you guys were discussing, it's a busy job, bro. Like it just being on top of your social media is for 100% it's busier than just like, and nothing against any other job, but like, let's say you work 9 to 5 at like a bank, like, bro, it's not as busy as having to stay on top of your social media and like planning and filming and like staying on top of your comments and everything.
Yeah. Even like, never mind anything else. Just like when I post something and like respond, because I try to respond to every comment that I get on my posts. So like just that alone, like eventually I'm going to have like, if this takes off like enough that I can do that, like I have somebody like checking comments for me. Cause like that alone is like, it's
true. It's true. Yeah. If you look at a guy like I'm sure you guys are all familiar with Gary Vee. Like Gary Vee, I mean, he stays on top of engaging his audience, but he's got guys working on other aspects, doing his filming, planning what they're going to do. It's different. Like on the level like we're at, we're like we're essentially a one-man show.
Yeah.
You're doing your marketing, you're doing your promotion. I mean, you're doing your content, you're filming, you're editing. Like it is a lot, dude. Like people don't understand that. Like to do like a 3-minute clip, how many hours go into that 3-minute clip? That people don't appreciate the behind the scenes.
Facts. Yeah. I don't know if I think you saw the teaser trailer that I posted on Instagram for the guest list for this podcast.
Yes.
Like that was like 58 seconds long. Took me probably, I want to say like between half an hour and 45 minutes to get it all like formulated. And cause like I did the whole, like I had to gather all the pictures, crop them cause I did screenshots, and then bring them in and then like pick a transition, add the text, find everybody's username, make sure it was spelled correctly. And I sent it to Scott just so that he could check it. And then he picked out a couple things that I had to fix. And then so I had to fix those things and then finally posted it. And that was quite the process for just like a little 1-minute clip.
Yeah, dude. People don't understand, and like even more in depth. Like if you look at some of my like the we were talking about the beard guide, the ultimate beard guide that I did.
Mm.
That when I filmed that initially, I did that in one take, or not one
Yeah.
take, but like in one day, right?
Mm.
And it took me several hours to film that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it was all said and done, and after I chopped it down, I want to say it was like almost like it was an hour and a half, like video, like an instructional,
Oh
right?
wow.
Yeah.
And then I was like, nobody, if I put this on YouTube, nobody's going to sit there for an hour and a half and watch this whole thing. You know, no matter how much knowledge I am getting, and I'm giving high level stuff here because I'm giving you the shit that they don't teach in barber school that you learn after being years of a high level barber, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but no one's going to sit there and appreciate it. So I was like, I got to cut this bitch into chunks. So then I had to be like, okay, well, where do I stop this? And this is one section. This is another section. So anyways, that it took like, I don't know how many hours to film the video, right? We'll say let's say it was 6 hours, right?
Yeah.
Then to cut it down to the hour and a half took hours to edit, right?
Yeah.
And then I was like, and then once I'm done, I'm like, this is no good. I can't, I mean, it's good, but I can't release it like this. No one's gonna sit there and watch this shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I got to cut it into chunks, and then that took hours. And then you have to add the graphics to cut it and get it like YouTube worthy.
Yeah.
Mm.
And it's still, and I'm a perfectionist, so it's still not the level that I wanted it to be at. But I was like, okay, this is it. And it's funny, like, I broke it down into a 6-part series, right? And you can see like exactly what I said, how like somebody won't see, you're going to get maximum benefit out of it if you watch the entire series.
Yeah.
But you can see that what most people do is they watch like the first video, the second video, and then jump to like video number 5. Because when you look at like the views, like video, like I want to say like 3 and 4 have like the least amount of views, but like 1, 2, 5, and 6 are like maxed out. People like jump to the beginning and jump to the end, but you're missing that meat in the middle.
Yeah.
And you gotta have the meat in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
YouTube's a weird beast.
100%. Absolutely. Is it ever? Scott, what's your morning routine like?
Oh shit, I forgot we were asking questions.
Yeah.
I like to wake up and jerk off. No, I'm joking. Normally I wake up and you know, my kid's usually right there. So I actually do my whole beard routine with him. Like I'm essentially training him from day one, like men have beards.
Yeah.
So you can grow one, have one.
For sure.
So like I have 2 of the little wooden combs, and he has his, I have mine. So we'll brush out our beards even though he doesn't have one.
Yeah.
It's just super cute. He brushes his little skin and he comes along with me. You know,
That's amazing.
We'll jump in the shower. I'll do his hair, and I'll even do it with like the beard conditioner and the beard wash, so we smell the same. And then we'll jump out. I put some beard oil in his hair just so he feels like he's part and his hair smells nice. And you know, we spend quite a bit of time outside, so you know, like the daytime oil, it protects against the sun, especially if it's a hot day. And he has really fine skin and hair, so I just try and take that into consideration for him. Sure. And then for me, I don't quite have those problems, so everything I do is for style purposes. My beard, I'll straighten it. After the shower, I'll make sure that I spray my shield in there, my Viking shield. Most people make the mistake, though, of making sure that it's damp, and then they put their beard straightener in there. And that's just not smart. Like, you want it to dry first. You want it to really get in there. You know, even brush it in again if you have to. Like, just really get it in there. Then you straighten it out, and then you throw the daytime oil in once it's looking good. Then you throw your balm in over top. It really holds that scent in, and then also makes it smell that much better just because it holds in that daytime oil. And usually that's about it. I get out the door after a few more brushes, and my man, I'm looking good. I try and do the best I can to find a woman in my population of 3,000 old people with money, but they're few and far between.
Fair.
What about you, Jordan? What's your morning routine like?
So this year it's expanded substantially, just because I've been like focusing more on like styling my hair and like with the beard struggle products, like using those consistently, like trying to like take better care of my skin, which works better depending on the day. So I usually wake up, I try to wake up around 8:30, but especially during this lockdown, that hasn't happened as consistently as I would like it to.
Yeah.
Wake up, wash my face, brush my teeth, because I just hate like the smell of morning breath, and like even like getting in the shower with it, I just can't stand it. So I brush my teeth like the second I get up, and then shower, wash my hair and my beard, do all that, and then get out, like do a different like face wash because I have like a system that I use. And then so I do the second part of that, and then beard oil, beard balm, and then style my hair and deodorant, and then doing whatever I'm doing for the day.
That sounds like a solid routine, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
God damn.
Actually, I'm posting a video on my YouTube channel, I think next week, like of my whole morning grooming routine. So yeah, so that'll be. I'm interested to see how people respond to that because it's different than like what I've been doing. Yeah, I spent a lot of time on it, like editing the B-roll and like getting clips together, and like I filmed a ton of footage, so like clipping it down took a while. So yeah, that should be good. Yeah. Next question. Are you typically a night owl or an early riser?
Oh, dude, I don't sleep, man.
Man never sleeps, Jordan.
I'm definitely nocturnal. No, I'm whatever I need to be. Like if I got to get up early, you know what I find is like, and it's something about, I think it's every individual's internal clock. You know how like if you were, when you were a kid in school and you had a field trip the next day and it was like a badass field trip.
Yeah.
Like you didn't even need an alarm. You would just wake up and go. Like
Yep.
your body, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's true. Like there's a lot that goes on subconsciously in the human brain.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like want to do something, you vibrate. You send out no vibrators, right? You vibrate. You send out an energy that like to make shit happen, you know.
Mm.
So, but typically, what happens with me is I'm like we were talking about just being. I'm such a busy person between my kid, between my business. I'm always thinking about things. I'm thinking about the fight coming up. I'm thinking about what I have to do. The curriculum that I want to teach for my next session. I'm thinking about what clients I have to book, what I want to do for the future. So my brain is always go, 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 go. Mm-hmm. And then when I have to like at night tonight, for example, like it would probably be about 3 a.m. before my mind starts to like finally shut down.
Huh.
Because my brain is so fast paced that it just, that's usually like my cutoff, man. Like around 3 is when I start to kind of like go down. And then if not, it's time to hit the NyQuil and start up. I have to listen. That's how I am, bro. I have to force myself to shut down. That's how this machine rolls, bro. You know,
NyQuil is a shit. I love that stuff,
dude. Diphenhydramine, 50 milligrams, Benadryl.
Mm-hmm. Scott, what about you?
Jordan?
Oh, all right,
you go.
All right.
Yeah, sexy bastard.
I would say, yeah, kind of similar to you, Black Belt. Like, if I need to get up early, then I'll get up early. But I would rather stay up late and then sleep in the next day.
Yeah, for sure.
But also kind of similar. Like my best ideas hit me at like after like 1 a.m. Like I had this idea for like this like super like in-depth like massive video project that I actually just filmed last week, and the idea hit me at like 2 a.m. So I ended up staying up till like 3-4 a.m, like scripting the whole video like in the span of an hour, just because it just hit me then, and I was like, oh, I can't sleep now, I gotta go write this down.
Well, that's because that's when the rest of the world goes silent.
Yeah.
You know, so you don't have all these other outer distractions, and then your brain can kind of like zone in and be like, hey, I have this idea that I've been wanting to let you know about, and it's like, yo, it's 1:15, let me hit him with it.
Yep. Totally. Facts. 100%.
Yeah, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a lot how I am as well. I mean, I find it weird. I used to be a lot more of a night owl when I was a teenager, that kind of thing. And then I grew up, and before I had a kid, I was a lot more of, I like to sleep during the daytime, and I would be awake all night.
Huh, okay.
Now that I've found kind of like a creative niche almost with everything going on, like I don't want to sleep at all.
Yeah,
ever,
honestly.
because
Yep.
I just have so much shit going through my head all the time.
Yep.
I'm like, I don't want to go to sleep because I'm going to miss something.
Yeah,
And then I wake
facts.
up and I'm like, fuck, what ideas did I miss? Like I told Jordan earlier, at some point, my goal with this podcast is every single guest that comes on, I'm going to turn them into a stuffed animal.
That'd be awesome.
That's my goal. I want to turn everybody into a stuffed animal. So there'd be like a black belt stuffed animal, and it would just be like you as a stuffed animal with the beard, with your black belt and a gi on. Fucking we'll throw your logo on the back, and you know, same with Phil. Like we'll throw his logo on the back, and it'll just be this giant badass teddy bear, you know. And with Viking Peach, fuck, we'll make a peach. I don't know. And yeah, so for me lately, it's been I've been really trying to figure out where I'm at as far as my sleep goes. I'm not awake during the day. I'm on autopilot a lot of the time, but at night I don't really make up for my sleep either. So I'm not really sure if I'm either a daytime or a nighttime. I just don't want to waste any time.
Yeah. Like if I never had to sleep, I would never sleep because I would be able to, like, I would have so much more time to like edit and like create content if I never had to sleep. So I'm hoping that somebody like figures, like Elon Musk, he has a company working on this like implant that like goes in your brain that like
Jesus Christ.
It like increases your like your ability to like function and like how your brain works, and like it's wild. I think he's like
call Adderall, bro.
Jordan wants to be a fucking
call
robot.
Adderall. Yeah, so it's a micro sleep. Like when I said I micro sleep, like that's truly what I do. Like sometimes I don't sleep at all. Sometimes I'll go like two days or so without sleeping. And then what happens with me, like on average, I'll maybe get like, I don't know, 4 hours of sleep, maybe 5 hours. If that's a good sleep. Okay.
Yeah.
And then what happens is I'll go for a while like that. And then just one day, like 1 week, I'll just crash and I'll have to like sleep most of the day to like recover. You know? And then I'm recharged and I'm good to screw myself up for another couple months. You know?
Yeah. That happened to me on Sunday night after our podcast with Phil, because we weren't done that until like 1 a.m. And then by the time like I was ready for bed, it was like close to 2, and then I slept till like 10:30 like the next day. Just like crash right out, and then back to doing this, like editing videos all day, like applying for more jobs and doing all that kind of stuff, and then sleep, like going to sleep super late and then like sleeping in the next day. For sure.
It's amazing what the human body is capable of. You know, you got to think like Navy SEALs and stuff like that, like the stress inoculation training, not sleeping and having to still function. Yeah, I had to do it as a paramedic. Like like I said, I work 24-hour shifts, 30-hour shifts sometimes. And like, you know what it is to not sleep, right? And then at like 4 a.m, you get a call for somebody having a cardiac arrest. When you call 911, what do you expect? A professional is coming with some high-level training, right? So it doesn't matter that I haven't slept all day or all night or whatever. Like, none of that matters. That's on the back burner. I have to jump in and get to work, you know?
Wow.
So I'm just acclimated to that I just like, I'm going to keep functioning whether I'm on 10 minutes of sleep or 10 hours of sleep, you know? But you do crash. It does take its toll on you. Like I said, it destroys your adrenal glands. It can mess with your serotonin levels in your brain. You know, it can definitely it has its effects on you.
For sure.
Yeah, it's definitely just about to say like there must be some heavy side effects to having to be awake for so long and then crash, and be awake so long and then crash. At some point, that has to pay a major toll on your body.
Well, you weren't created to be like that. Like every human being, whether we like to stay up late at night or not, that's not how we were created. We have our the circadian rhythm. You're supposed to sleep during the night and wake up during the day. You know, so like the whole time change thing is like, it's bullshit. You shouldn't be jumping your clock back. You shouldn't be doing that.
Thank you.
Facts. Amen.
I can't stand that shit. It's an antiquated system that needs to go away. You know,
I think I think we might be done with that here. I don't know.
Some states don't even do it, so it's weird. You know, you drive through like one county and it's like they're doing it, but it's not. It's like, what fucking time is it? You know, but it's stupid. You're just point blank. You're supposed to sleep at night, wake up and be alive and do things during the day, and then that cycle is supposed to continue. And that's how you get the maximum benefit out of your life, by following that pattern. And just everything in life is set up to. Not everything, but a lot of things in society and life and culture are set up to destroy your natural human patterns, you know?
That's true. Like everything that would normally be best for you, spending more quality time with your family, not being worked to the bone, taking better self-care of yourself. A lot of the time that's actually frowned upon in today's society because you're not outputting more than than a normal person would, right? Most people have their 9 to 5, but in today's world, like you got to have a side hustle, you got to do something. And if you're not doing that and you're just hanging out playing Call of Duty with your thumb up your ass, some people will tend to give you that stank eye. You know, you're not doing something with yourself.
Well, you don't fit into society's standard, you know. Even whether society standard is correct or not, you know, you don't fit in. So when you go against the grain, like people are, you know, they give you that sideways eye, you know, like there shouldn't be nighttime jobs. You know what I'm saying? There should be no graveyard shift at a 7-Eleven or something. Like if you didn't buy it during the day, then you go and get it tomorrow. You know, it's
amazing. That's how the world used to be. You know, I remember talking to my mom about when we were growing up, and I was like, so like what would happen back in the day if you didn't have any money? Like say dad went to camp. My dad worked in camp. He'd be gone for 2 weeks and then he'd come back for a week. And I'm like, so what would happen when dad would leave? She's like, if I didn't have enough money when he left, you know, or we, you know, didn't go to the bank by Friday to get out money for the weekend, like then you didn't have any money for the weekend. And I was, well, why didn't you go to an ATM machine? Well, we didn't have them. Well, why didn't you use your debit card? Well, we didn't have debit cards back then. It was a much different system than today's world where you can pay with everything through your phone by looking at it and clicking 2 buttons or whatever the case is, right?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just crazy, man. That's why you shouldn't be so dependent on technology and I don't know. It's like the way the systems are set up. And I don't want to be a big conspiracy theorist person, but just everything is set up.
Yeah, please.
The Earth is flat, bro. Okay, I said it. No, it's not flat. It's more of an oval shape. It's neither round nor flat. It's kind of like this concave shape, to be real. But no, the way society and technology and every setup, it's set up for you to be dependent. For you to be dependent on your government, to be dependent on your businesses, to be dependent on, you know, all these things. And we've already seen it. When one thing goes wrong, people go into a panic because people are dependent on their phones and their social media now. You know, if the internet was to go down for a week, the world would be in complete and utter chaos. The world would burn. If you had no internet access for an entire week, you couldn't get on social media, you couldn't access information like that. What do you think would happen there?
Well, I know that I would cry because I can't talk to you guys. I'd be fucking bawling my eyes out.
Be so sad.
I'd be smoking. I showed Jordan the bag of weed I bought earlier. I'd probably be smoking that. You know, like
I don't think I've ever seen so much weed in my life.
Got to see Jesus when you need to see Jesus, brother. No, you're very right. It's pretty crazy how dependent we are on things, and like you're saying, if the internet went away for a week, but just imagine the damage that would cause. I mean, nobody thought that they were going to shut down all the businesses because there was a pandemic or whatnot. They didn't think that was going to happen. And they did. And the whole world went crazy. And we used the internet in a lot of ways to survive through that time. So, I mean, take away that crutch and send people back to their normal everyday life. Even that would be difficult.
That'd be horrible.
Jordan doesn't want to do it.
He doesn't really want to think about it. But, I mean, dude, like, seriously, it would cripple the planet, bro. Like,
facts.
It would cripple.
Especially now, like when everyone's like at home, like most people are at home, like working from home. If there's no internet, like nothing would happen. Like
no business would get done. Everybody would
I don't know about if it's big in Canada, but like Uber Eats and like DoorDash, like getting food delivered to you.
Oh, huge,
dude. That's how my niece survives.
No internet, you can't do it. You're online gaming. All these guys playing Call of Duty right now. Can't do it.
Yep.
Facebook can't do it. Instagram can't do it. Your bank transfers. You need money, and your mom needs to send you money, $20 or $50, so you can go to the store to hold you over till payday. Can't do it. You know, I mean, we are too dependent on technology and internet, bro. You know,
I even just think about those poor perverts that can't jerk off to porn anymore. Like there'd be some thirsty, angry dudes marching down the road.
Can you even get like a decent magazine nowadays? Like, I don't know. You know,
that's a good question, Jordan. Can you look that up? Can you even buy a porn magazine these days? Is that even a thing?
That is not being looked up. You can look that up yourself, Scott.
God damn it, Jordan. You're supposed to be young Jamie.
Even young Jamie has limits.
God damn it, young Jamie. Yeah, I wonder that because that's retro. Like if you're going, like everything's done through screen these days, and I'm pretty sure there's virtual reality porn. So I don't even think porn mags are a thing anymore.
Yeah, just anything like without the internet, like.
So those old stories of kids finding their dad's dirty magazine and being introduced to boobs is definitely a thing of the past.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
They missed out on the golden ages.
Yeah, now it's like, dude, I unlocked my dad's phone and I saw his dick. I saw my dad's dick pic too. It's so fucked up.
Is that my mom?
Oh, God.
Oh God. Why does Dad have so many pictures of Betty White on his phone?
Say White, bad bitch.
Betty White's a bad bitch. I love her. Well, it's gonna be a sad day when that woman goes. Oh, it's gonna be a sad day when she goes.
I was thinking about that the other day. I'm not ready for it.
I just had an idea for a Blackbelt shirt.
Oh shit!
Yep.
What shirt? What shirt?
Oh damn! Well, every time a guest comes on the podcast, I like to make some form of merchandise for them on our store that we have. And I just released Phil's shirt last night, and now I got to work on Viking Peach's shirt and a piece of merchandise for you, my friend.
Yeah, man.
And I might be thinking of Betty White merchandise with your love for her all over it.
Dude, I'm loving it.
They may not let you sing Celine Dion to Betty White, but that will not stop them from me putting Celine Dion on a shirt for Betty White for you and then sending one to her agent.
Dude, I got one better for you. The most iconic scene in that movie is what? When they're on the front of the ship? and Leo's holding Rose. Well, guess who Leo and Rose are?
Oh, shit.
Oh, my goodness.
That is going to be I'm going to do it.
That's
going to be the best. I'm going to find a picture on your profile that's just the perfect side beard. And I'm going to upload Betty White and her face just glistening in the sun. Oh, I've never been so more alive.
Or I'm drawing her like one of my French girls.
Totally.
That's going to be incredible.
There's so many ways we can go with this. Yeah.
There is.
Yep.
That picture of Betty White, I mean, the one that you'd be drawing, it reminds me a lot of the picture that I had to send Jordan where the TBS products were covering my balls.
Damn you, Scott. Every time I again, it was all
what you get for not looking up porn magazines, Jamie.
It was almost out of my mind again. We talked about this with Viking Peach earlier today, and I was like, "Damn it, I'd almost forgotten about it." Now I remember it again.
I'm not letting you live this down. You have to have nightmares every night that you know it.
Oh man, oh man, awesome. Oh man. All right, last question. If you could have dinner with any 4 famous people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Oh, ooh, shit.
Damn. All right. Well, Bruce Lee.
Ooh. Nice.
Abraham Lincoln.
Ooh.
That's already an interesting dinner party.
Einstein.
Ooh.
Ooh.
And Napoleon Hill. Interesting. Yeah.
That's a very diverse group of people. Can I ask, what would you talk to them about? As you're sitting down and you have to talk to all these people. What would you be like, so how about them Blue Jays? Or like, hey, how about them Yankees?
Man, just everything. Like, so all of those people, even as diverse as they are, and they were specialists in individual fields, they were all also the freest thinkers in each of their fields.
Very
you know,
true.
the most open-minded. Abraham Lincoln, the most open-minded president of all time, abolished slavery. You know,
Yeah.
And he was a phenomenal wrestler. Not too many people know that. Do you guys know that?
I did know that,
and I was actually very
He
proud.
would go visit the soldiers on the battlefield and like hang out with them to boost morale. And he would get into like wrestling matches and stuff and he would talk them around a little bit.
That's awesome.
And he carried an axe, so he's the closest thing to a Viking we've had as a president.
Very true.
Albert Einstein, obviously revolutionary in his thinking, thought on a completely different level and plane than everybody else. Bruce Lee looked at martial arts and life in a completely different way. His philosophies are still till this day resonating. And then Napoleon Hill, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Napoleon Hill, but he wrote my favorite book, which is Think and Grow Rich.
Okay.
Absolutely phenomenal, life-changing book if you have a chance to read it. And it's not what you think. Like while you're reading it, it's not just about like how to like build assets and build companies and stuff. It's how to think and grow rich with your mindset as well. But yeah, anything those guys have to say, I wouldn't talk. I would just sit there and listen to them talk, to be honest with you.
Of course. Fair enough. That's an intelligent answer. I expect nothing less from you, my friend.
Yeah, man.
For me, I can't say that I have anybody that I've thought of to mind right now, so this might be a little bit off the top of my head, but I know, for instance, like I would have loved, and I've told Jordan this before, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before, I would have loved to have been on the boat with Bjorn Ironside when he was going to take Paris, like the actual history of the Vikings, not the little bit of construed there in the Vikings, even though it is fairly accurate in other parts. I would like to have had a conversation with him because he had a very famous father that did many, many great things, and then he did better than him, which is very difficult in history to find anywhere.
To step out of the shadow of somebody else, like that, yeah.
Especially, normally like normally like when you see it against comparison, it's like, oh, I'm stuck in my brother's shadow. But in this case, he was stuck in his father's shadow and did so much more, which was very inspirational to me. So Bjorn Ironside would be one. Number two would probably be Eddie Guerrero, the pro wrestler, because he was such a cool, fun guy to watch. And I took a lot of inspiration from his life about how he got addicted to drugs and lost his wife, and then he got her back, and he had a different kid with a different woman in the meantime, but still got his family back, and it was just a very uplifting story. And then I'd also like to ask him just a personal question, and anybody that doesn't think that this was a situation before he died is fucking insane. That dude tripled in size in a very short period of time. And then died not long after. So I would like to find out what he was doing back then, just to kind of figure out like what had happened, because it seemed like there was a switch that took place somewhere between like 3 to 6 months before he died. That was, you could physically see it. So that's something that I'd like to talk to him about. The other two, I would actually like to talk to Napoleon, just the historical figure Napoleon, because he was nuts, but there's a lot of similarities between, like people compare him to Hitler a lot. So I'd like to talk to him about his idea of conquest, what his goal was, essentially. I knew what his goal was by going out and fighting and using the political moves, but I want to know like the personal part of it. I want to know what drove him to those decisions and what made him go out there. And the last one, Genghis Khan. Any man that can get fucking, his DNA is 1/8 of the planet, I gotta talk to you. Son, you gotta tell me your dick game. You gotta tell me what you're doing.
So I can make that happen. I have a Mongolian friend that his bloodline can be traced back to Genghis Khan's grandson, I believe it is.
Interesting.
So yeah, like full on like Mongol, man. Yeah.
Scott,
That's cool.
I do believe we have another addition to our list of guests.
I love it.
That's awesome.
So stay on. Well, I want to hear Jordan's 4 as well, but then I want to add something to this topic here.
For sure.
Yeah, of course. What's yours, Jordan?
Ooh. I gotta go Michael Jackson for one. Like probably my all-time favorite artist. From any era. Man, I create hard questions. Holy crap.
You do.
Steve Jobs. Got to be one of them for sure.
I forget he's dead often.
Yeah. 2010, 2011, I think he died. Something like that. Yeah, he would be my second. Yeah, Michael Jackson, Steve Jobs.
You look like you're thinking so hard your brain's about to pop out of your head.
Yeah. Yeah, my third one, Robert Downey Jr., one of my favorite actors. Number 4. Oh man. Oh my gosh.
First person that comes to mind. Who is it? Anybody? What do you see?
Jeffrey Epstein.
Yikes. I gotta go Gary V. Like
He's not dead.
Gary V's a good one.
Yeah, it's dead or alive.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Do you want to change your answer?
No, YOLO. Fuck it. Let's do this.
Yeah, same. Like those 4 that I named were like the first 4 that came to mind. But
yeah.
I mean, I could go on. There's many people that I would love to sit down and talk to. I'm all about good conversations. But touching on this topic, because I mentioned Napoleon Hill, and in the book Think and Grow Rich, he talks about kind of like brainstorming, and what he would do is in his mind he would have board meetings. But in these board meetings, he would bring, like how we're doing, like we're talking about who we'd want to have dinner with. He would bring those people into his mind. Like he would go to those like experts and like have imaginary conversations with them.
Interesting.
Yeah, man. Like he in his like you can really like you have to remember that your mind doesn't know the difference, right? You ever have like a really, really intense dream and you wake up and you're like, man, that felt so real, right? Why is it? Why is it that your heart is racing? Because you weren't really like in that car that was crashing in your dream, right? Because your mind cannot tell the difference, so therefore your body doesn't know the difference, right? So you can, in your mind, create conversations with these intellectuals and highly intelligent people and these people that we're discussing. And your subconscious will absorb it as if you truly had these conversations.
That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
Think about that. I like the whole Matrix thing, right? About reality. Perception. Whoa. Yeah. Perception is reality, man. So you can actually convince your subconscious and your mind that you had a conversation with Betty White or Abraham Lincoln or with Steve Jobs or with Genghis Khan, right? Yeah. And then you can take those tidbits of information that's why you should always be seeking further knowledge, whether it's reading a book or watching a documentary or something, because you never know what's gonna resonate with you and your subconscious and is going to take you to that next level.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I've been trying to even expand my mind a little bit as far as like the programming that I watch, because sometimes you get stuck in a rut. I'm going to watch all Vikings, and then I'm going to watch all these retro cartoons that I used to watch, and then I'm on a documentary kick. And like you said, it's always good to switch it up every now and again and open up your mind to something different. When I was a kid, I'd often watch cartoons and like animes or something like that, and it'd make me feel a certain way. And every now and again, I find as an adult, I'll actually go back and watch some anime or something like that and try and put myself in that same mindset as when I was a kid, so I can get the creative juices flowing. It's almost like a little hack that I found to get some stuff going, is put yourself in that childlike mind where it's just create. Everything's about creating.
Absolutely. You're trying to recreate that emotional state that brought you that level of creativity. It's the same thing like a fighter listening to like a certain song or something before they go out and fight to put them in that mental state, in that state of focus, you know?
You have a song before you go out and fight that you're like, fuck yeah, this is my jam. This is going to make me want to punch this guy's face into the moon.
It depends on, I mean, I have certain songs that like resonate with me, that get me in that like war mode, you know? Like I have certain, like a playlist that I like to train to and stuff, but it can change. It can vary. I can be motivated by different things. It just depends. Yeah. I mean, but usually it's gotta be something, because, you know, I mean, I grew up in a different era, and I grew up in a different neighborhood. You know, that's probably another thing that people don't know about me. If you want to go to like tidbits, people don't know about me. I grew up straight up in the ghetto, bro. Like I'm from like, don't let the intelligent talk and stuff fool you. Like I'm from the hood, dude. When I was like 13 years old in middle school, like my school was legit like across from the projects. I could look out of my third period English class, and I could hear gunshots and see somebody getting jacked for their shirt. Like that's how I grew up, you know?
Wow.
So I grew up listening, you know, Tupac and this, but that was not because I wanted to listen to Tupac, but that was the culture. That was what I was around, you know?
Yeah.
That being said, Tupac spit some shit. Like he had some knowledge. You know? You know? That's the Tupac I like. I like the Tupac when he was being philosophical, not when he was just talking about just gangster shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Fair.
But yeah, it just depends, man. What I want to listen to, the different things motivate me. But like I get into some really hood, like, you know, real like hardcore like rap, and you know, I listen to rock and stuff too. My taste is very eclectic. Like I don't know if you guys saw my Instagram stories today. I busted out the guitar. I haven't played guitar in a long time.
Yeah, cool. I saw that. That was nice.
Yeah, I've had the urge to be playing lately, and so I was like, you know what, screw it. Today I want to play, and I think I'm going to start documenting that journey of getting back into it, because I used to play all the time.
Yeah, man. So I wish I could say that I had a song that just fired me up, that I could be like, yeah, this song from Slipknot really, you know, did it for me. But for me, unfortunately, like all my songs are embarrassing. Yeah, it's like a Shakira. It's like a Shakira song, and it's like 1, 2 step, show me your step, and I'm like, I'm gonna kill this guy. Like it's just makes no fucking sense.
Hey, if it invokes the emotion in you and the mindset, and it's not stupid, you know what I'm saying? It's whatever sparks that inside of you, and for everybody it's different. One guy can listen to Led Zeppelin and he's ready to go, and then the other person needs to hear, you know, Britney Spears Hit Me One More Time. You know, before he gets going. You know?
It's funny you mentioned that. I remember going to one of my first MMA events, and somebody played a song, and it was like they walked out. I think they walked out to Cotton Eye Joe. Cotton Eye Joe, Cotton Eye Joe, fucking Cotton Eye Joe. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, there's no way this fires any human being up on the planet. And sure enough, that dude went out there, man. He had the fire in his eyes, like he was gonna kill somebody. I refused out here. I'm going out on my shield or killing somebody. And he did great that night. He did amazing. So fuck.
He may need that. That's another, like the other side of the sword. There is, he may need that, and some fighters need that. And I know sometimes I need it too. Is you need that silly song to bring you back down. Because maybe you're overhyped, because you're about to go into a combat situation. You're about to, you're trying to break another person while they're trying to break you, right? Yeah. And sometimes you need that something to detach you from that, so you can just kind of zero yourself out and get back to focusing. So maybe that silly song is like what makes them like kind of laugh inside for a second to come back to reality, you know, instead of being so overhyped, you know, like you know, back this was probably like mid 2000s. When like GSP was real big, when the whole Jackson Winklejohn camp was really big, like when it was Rashad Evans, Keith Jardine, George St. Pierre, right? They would come in and they used to pinch their nipples before going to fight. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
What was that about? Why?
Exactly, right? You would be like, wow. Yeah. The whole squad would do it, bro. They would go out, they would pinch their nipples before they and somebody asked GSP about that. They're like, why, you know, what was up with that shit? Like, why were you guys doing that, you know? And he said the same thing that I just said about it was something that would make them detach from all the tension.
Okay.
You know, getting prepared backstage, walking, just that moment of silliness and like pinching your nipples to like make you like do something stupid to where you're embarrassed in front of everybody, to make you just like, okay, I'm back. I'm in this now. Don't let your head go too far, you know, estranged. It's an odd way to do it, but they did, you know.
I love GSP. He's a gentleman, but for the love of God, man, you're a billionaire. Why are you letting people grab your nipples?
I know.
But, you know, George was an interesting guy. The whole Jackson Winklejohn camp was an interesting situation. You know, it was interesting when GSP was champion and he was coming up. You know, Faraz was obviously his main coach that he dealt with quite a bit of the time. But Jackson Winklejohn got a lot of the credit for George's success over the years, which I know that they were only working with him part-time. So I always felt like Faraz Sahabi's been like this hidden treasure that's hidden away in Montreal of Canada that nobody ever talks about. And it's really fun knowing a few guys in the industry that go out to Montreal and train with him, and they find out what kind of a guy he is. He's very competitive, and he goes out there and competes against the very best that come into his gym. And you know, like how you like people that go very deep into philosophy. That's how he takes martial arts, and that's how I enjoy listening to people like him, like Faraz Sahabi, John Danaher, listening to Eddie Bravo, like just a little bit off the beaten path. I find I get the most knowledge from those gentlemen.
Absolutely. I'm the same way. I'm a big Faraz Sahabi fan, and to be honest with you, if I had to choose, like, if for whatever reason they were like, hey, we got money to send you to one camp, where do you want to go? Do you want to go to Faraz Sahabi, or do you want to go to train with Jackson and Winklejohn? I'd be like, I want to go to Faraz Sahabi, me personally. What the Jackson camp was great for, like when GSP would go, that was strictly for game planning. Like what Jackson is, he's a master game planner. He knows how to take an athlete, whether it's John Jones or GSP or anybody that he's training, and he can look at their opponent and he can look at your attributes as the athlete and tell you what you have to do 100% in order to use your attributes against your opponent. That's what he's a master of. Where Faraz Sahabi is going to make you a complete mixed martial artist, like from a technical aspect. Not that he doesn't know how to game plan as well. He can absolutely game plan, but that's what Jackson's specialty is he's a master chess player. You know, that's why so many guys go to him. It's because they go to him for the game planning, you know?
Yeah, which is interesting. I've heard over the years, just especially these last few years, that apparently through the grapevine, it's more of Mike Winklejohn that's taken over from just what's been going on. And, you know, I almost wish that in some sense during the GSP era that the other half of Jackson Winklejohn went, hey, you know, why don't I go team up with Faraz and see how that goes? Because clearly the partnership seemed like it has run its course. The gym is no longer producing at the level that they once were. You have fighters that have been there a very long time that are now starting to leave and not say good things about them, which are all generally signs that the management is not where it needs to be. So I almost wish that Jackson went to Faraz at some point and went like, hey, maybe we should work together. Maybe there's something that we could do here. Because they had great results together. The two of them had amazing results together.
Absolutely. Undisputed results together. But there was a lot of elements, like John Danaher is a part of that, formula as well. Just money, man. Money corrupts and destroys. And that's what it does, you know? Like at the time, like, you know, these gyms and these coaches that we're talking about, they weren't always the superstars that they were before, so they were hungry. And then once you start getting a lot of money, it starts being less about like, the very notorious moment in MMA. I don't know if you recall, you'll remember this because I know you've seen a lot of MMA as well. Is when John Jones knocked out Lyoto Machida.
Yeah, and I think he choked him out. Did he not?
Or did he choke him out? Maybe he did choke him out.
I think he choked him. I think he choked him up against the fence, and people got upset because he dropped him like a rag doll after.
He did he did like a high elbow guillotine and just like dropped him. And then, but the key takeaway from that was when Jackson was like, go win some fans, John, go win some fans. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So that showed you that like the whole like martial arts and like that honorable aspect that they try to like promote from like John Jones, because we know John Jones is he's a great athlete, but as a human being, he's made a lot of mistakes, you know.
Absolutely.
But they try to promote him for the long time, like he was the Christian good boy, this and that. And training with Jackson was like, you know, it's all the good guys. They go train with him. No, those guys were just like trying to get fans and money, just like everybody else, you know.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then once they started getting that money, that changes the dynamic of your team, you know. Because then it's just about getting more money, you know.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder touched on that a little while ago before his big fight with Tyson Fury, where he lost the belt. Was he had to get rid of some people in his corner because he saw that they were after the money. They weren't about his success, and they weren't about building what he was trying to accomplish at that point. They were just trying to cash out. They're just trying to get as much money from him as they could. And when you get that feeling in your camp, it's like a creepy feeling, like something's crawling up your back. I find it's no good to have that bad energy, and that bad aura can really take away from your success if you let it get too deep.
True loyalty is rare. It's really, really rare. You know, everybody's around when someone's a champion. Look at somebody that's been a champion, like let's start like a Mike Tyson or something, right? Look at when Mike Tyson was at the pinnacle of boxing, the number of people that were around him. And then once he was on that downhill slope, how many people were still around him? You know, anybody. That's any athlete. Any athlete, when they're a person, when they're on top, a businessman, whatever, when they're on top, they have all kinds of leeches and people around them. It's really hard when you're at the top to know who truly has your genuine, you know, best interest in mind, you know? Yeah,
no, it is a difficult thing these days. I mean, I think that's part of the reason I'm so grateful for our support group that we have. Everyone's genuine, you know, for the most part. Everybody's very genuine. They want each other to do well. We share the knowledge that we gain from one another. If somebody needs help, we ask, and somebody gladly volunteers back. It's not nobody's being dragged or pulled around, being forced to do anything. And it, like you're saying, when you get that bad vibe and energy in the group, it tends to rip things apart. Which is why when something good comes along, it's good to recognize that and, you know, pay back the love, which is part of the reason Jordan and I started this podcast. Was one thing I think people forget about a lot in life is they don't bring the people to the dance that brought them to the dance to begin with. They get to the dance, you know, let's say Jordan gives me a ride to the dance. I'm like, thanks, Jordan, for the ride. See ya. If I do that, I'm an asshole. I'm a dick. But if Jordan gives me a ride and I'm like, hey man, come on, let's go party our asses off tonight and see what kind of trouble we can get into.
Yeah, bro, I got this chick. She's got this fat friend, bro. She's come on, let's
go. Jordan found out a story today about me and a fat chick that
Hey, big girls need love too. You know what I'm saying? Don't be scared to love a big woman. Big girls need love too.
I wasn't scared to love her. I was just scared as to how I ended up there. I don't know how. I don't know how I got there. I just remember laying there and being like, why? How? Huh?
Was that all? Did we run through all the questions? Is that all the questions, or was there more?
That's all the questions that I have. So now we can just chat about whatever.
Yeah, but any other? You guys want to hit me with any other? While you have me here, man, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling philosophical. I'll talk about whatever.
Ooh, Jordan, do you have any deep?
No pressure. Nothing on paper. What do you genuinely would like to ask me or whatever, man, or talk to me about? Ooh. You're like, bro, you know, I want to know this and that, you know?
Yeah. Why did you what made you want to join the beard struggle?
Next question.
Poor Jordan's just sitting there. He's like, fuck.
No, I'm kidding. So, you know, I have, first off, being of Cuban descent, I have never, ever, I mean, other than being a little kid, have been able to be completely clean shaven. Okay.
Fair enough.
Now, mind you, when you are in the military or like a paramilitary organization, like I was in the fire department, I've worked obviously as a medic, I've worked as a first responder, and then I worked as a protection officer in schools, right? Anyways, all those jobs require you to be clean shaven, right? So I would literally like wake up in the morning for my shift, shave that morning, and then like, 5 o'clock shadow does not exist with me. You get like 4 o'clock beard, okay? So I would shave, and it would actually be hurting my face, right? To have to shave so much. Yeah. And because my beard is so thick. And like a chief or something or a captain would come by and be like, Alex, you gotta go shave, bro. I'm like, bro, I shaved. What are you talking about? This is me shaving. Just because you got a bitch beard doesn't mean you don't know what it's like to be a real man. So the moment that I didn't have to do that anymore, I was like, I'm growing my beard. My body has wanted me to grow a beard since birth, anyways. Right? So once I didn't have to be clean shaven anymore, I was like, I always had rocked at least a little bit of stubble. And then I've always wanted to grow like really grow my beard out. But I was not as good as I was with like a straight razor and, shaping up a beard and being able to cut a beard. I actually was not as well versed and knowledgeable on like oils and balm and stuff like that. So there was a part of my beard game that I had a deficit in. So I started like I do with everything else. If I don't know shit about leg locks, I start studying leg locks, so whatever it may be, right? So I started diving really deep into beard products and to see if they were just bullshit or if they really do make a difference. So I started going through different, I tried other companies, I worked with other companies, and other companies actually even till this day offer me products, right? And I came across, of course, at some point during that journey, if you're looking into beard oils and balms, you're going to run across the beard struggle because they're one of the massive brands right now when it comes to this stuff. So the type of person I am, I look at their product, I'm like, sounds good. I'm into Vikings and shit. I really like this shit because I love warrior culture. So the Vikings thing, like I'm obsessed with Viking culture. Okay.
Yeah, me too.
And so I was like really into this shit. So I started diving deep. Let me find, and they're naming their shit after like Viking products. Let me see what's up, And then I was like, okay, they're all natural. All right. So like just everything that like I was looking for a reason to hate them. Okay. And they wouldn't let me. All natural, boom. Okay. The only thing you can maybe argue about is the price point for some of the products. Yeah. Let's be honest, right?
For sure. Yeah.
But it's not a cheap product. So of course the oil doesn't cost $12 or $9 for the bottle because it's a high quality product and look, a Mercedes-Benz does not cost the same as a 1989 Toyota. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you gotta pay. You're getting what you pay for.
Yeah.
Well, like 100%. What you mentioned about females, right? You don't ever want to look at how much your wife's shampoo or conditioner costs. You're like, holy shit, my God.
So, but you like the way her hair looks, right? Because it's all soft, it's nice and pretty. Because she's putting. You get what you pay for. You want a high quality beard, you got to use high quality products. So, anyways. So I was a fan of the beard struggle, or they caught my eye, rather, I should say, before I got into the ambassador program. Okay. And I always wanted to try the products. And then I was like, I started following them on Instagram, started looking them up. And at the time I was trying different products. And then finally I was offered, I was hit with the social media thing about, hey, would you, be interested in being an ambassador? Yeah. It's like, all right, let me look further into it. Got my discount for the product, and I was like, you know what? Let me actually give this a try, like a genuine try.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, look, all my sponsors that I have, and as an athlete, I have right now, I have like 4 or 5 sponsors, right?
Yeah.
And I get offered a lot more than that, but I only have like 4 or 5. Okay. because I do not back anything that I don't believe in.
Of course.
Yeah.
I've had clothing companies and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, man. I just I'm at the time I can't take a clothing company because I'm not feeling their stuff. I can't be fake. I have to be genuine.
For sure.
So when I tried the Beard Struggle product, I was like, yo, this is for real. Like my beard feels different than when I was using that product B that I was using prior to using the Beard Struggle, you know? And I was like, there's a difference here, you know? And then I was like, but before I really start like pitching this and making videos about me using this stuff, let me use this for, I used it for a good like couple weeks to almost a month before I started like preaching it to other people.
Oh, okay, cool. Mm-hmm.
Like legit, man. I didn't just like get my kit and start saying, hey guys, because so many people know me that I have to keep that like my reputation of that I don't back anything that I don't believe in, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So if I'm backing the product, it's because I genuinely use it. Like I'll take you guys into my cabinet right now. It's all Beard Struggle shit, you know?
Yeah, man.
And it's not because the Beard Struggle sent me a whole bunch of free shit. It's because it's what I use.
Yeah.
You know? So yeah, then after that, I mean, I was like, I was hooked. I don't use anything else. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, no, it's funny that you mentioned that. I found them before I ever worked for them. And in my situation, I remember I was talking to my ex-wife at the time, and she's like, oh, you ever going to shave that beard off? And I was like, yeah, no, like, and I had that little black wristband that we all wore there for a little while. And Jordan's got one there. And I was just like, oh, yeah, you know, this is the company, and I might be working for them soon. And then fucking next thing you know, the ambassador program came out, and I was working for them. So it was pretty crazy how that all worked out on my end. But yeah, like you're saying, you definitely got to keep that trust with not your customers, because they're not just customers, they're your people.
Your audience.
They listen to you, your audience.
You have to be genuine. You got to be genuine with your audience, because people will eventually see through the bullshit, you know?
Yeah, if you don't use it, don't preach it. If you don't like it, don't sell it.
Yeah, facts.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
So what did you use first? So that you used did you just get the oil and the balm, or what were you doing first?
I did. I used the day oil first because I went into a barbershop at one point in my life, and I was like, I'm going to try beard oil. And it felt really thick, and it smelled like shit. And I was like, wow. So that's where I started coming up with like jokes in my head. Like, if you want your beard to smell like shit, rub oil on it. You know, and that was just kind of my joke for years, because everybody that I ever found that used a beard oil, it was never good. Their beard didn't look any better. It didn't smell any better. It was never any softer. It was just a mess. So I very much like you guys, I love Vikings. I'm huge into Norse mythology and the history of Vikings and the religious aspect of everything, and just the whole culture in general. I'm very interested in. So I saw, you know, Viking Storm. I saw Asgardian Secret. And I'm like, hey, I like Viking shit. I recognize these terms. I kind of looked into it a little bit more. I'm like, oh, shit, that bottle looks dope.
Yep.
You know, and I just started with the daytime oil. And then, you know, one thing that I personally like, and this is just me coming from a completely perfectionist, like I'm a perfectionist when I like to try and get my stuff done. Like when I look at this bottle, that whole bottle, all the way around, is one solid color. There's no sticker. There's no anything. It's just solid. It's beautiful. It's shiny. And,
the bottle alone is high quality. When you see it, you know it's not a cheap product. Yeah,
facts. Yeah,
absolutely. And you can tell the gentleman that runs the Beard Struggle has put a lot of time and effort into it. So it was really hard for me. Like you said, you try and find a reason to hate. Like what can you really hate about this stuff? Like you said, maybe the price point. Bottle is, you know, $22 Canadian. Oh, well, why is it $22 Canadian? Because it's a good product.
Absolutely. It's a really good product.
Yeah, facts.
You know, it's like asking people to give you a sports car, an absolutely crazy sports car, for $20. Okay, well, you're not going to get that quality with $20. You got to spend more money than that.
Right, and that's an extreme example, but it's true. It's like, you know what, like, okay, so like I actually had a guy try to troll me online. He didn't directly troll me, like he didn't call me out, but I know that he looked at like my Instagram videos or something, you know, posts I made on Facebook, and then he said something about using like just like whatever, like cheap oil from the store or whatever, you know. And I knew that was like a jab at like, you don't have to use these high end products. I'm like, yeah, but bro, okay, so a burger's a burger then? So like the same burger that you get at, you know, Outback is the same burger that you get at McDonald's? Like, yeah, okay, a burger's a burger, but there's a difference between these burgers, homie. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty funny. Burgers. I can't imagine that trolling you online is any fun for those people. How does that usually end for those dumb, ignorant motherfuckers?
There's so much that I ignore, you know, because it's just like you have to pick your battles in life, because then otherwise you're going to be like, you know, listen, the way my life is, I'd be fighting all day between the stupid phone calls, between the stupid phone calls I get from people, the dumb shit that I hear online, or the guy that's training to beat me in like a month or so. You know what I'm saying? Like I just fight all day, you know, and then in traffic, like, so we pick and choose our battles. So as I've gotten older and again, growing up in the hood, like I had to fight like all the time.
Yeah.
But now as I've gotten older, like, I don't know, man. I want high quality fights. I can't just fight everybody for no reason, you know? So, yeah, just most stuff I just kind of ignore. You know who gave me really good advice on that was Dan Ziegler, Dan's beard. I actually talked to him, had a conversation with him about it. Dude, you know, so I'm used to like haters like in my face, like trying to talk shit to me. This whole internet hate shit is a little bit different to me. So
the keyboard warriors.
Oh, the keyboard warriors, man. I was like, because normally I would just delete and block a dude, you know, or just get rid of them or whatever. But it's like now I'm still trying to build my audience, so I can't get rid of everybody that annoys me. You know what I'm saying?
Totally.
So yeah, I was like, you know what I do? He goes, ignore it, man. He goes, just block. He tells me, he goes, block and delete. I was like, okay, so you do block and delete. Just get rid of people. Yeah. Just get it. And the beautiful thing with like Instagram is you don't ever got to see these people again. They can't find you. You can't find them. It's game over. Mm-hmm. You just erase them from your life. That's a wonderful thing. If only everybody came with that type of button.
God, I wish.
How amazing would that be, right? Yeah.
Facts. Fuck, sometimes I wish I lived back in like the 13th century, 14th century, just because if somebody pissed you off, you could kill them and nobody would really know about it unless you were really sloppy about it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, or at least a good fist fight, because now you can't even get into a good, like, just settle it, you know? Now it's like you're going to get jumped, or you're like, they won't even fight you. You hit them one time and they call the cops. Like, it's like, you can't, man, we live in a society where you just can't get shit out your system, you know?
Yeah. And in today's world, I mean, I'm not trying to take a jab here at cops, but with everything going on, man, the cop is probably the last person I want to call. You just don't know who's showing up.
You don't. And that's the truth. I mean, that's the truth in any industry though, bro. Like you can go to a restaurant and whatever server you get for that day is going to make the difference of the experience that you have.
I feel the same way about restaurants.
No, I'm just saying that's a universal truth. You know, you can go. You go to the emergency room, and it depends on who your nurse or doctor is for that night. You know, you might get the good one, you might get the bad. But but definitely, like, call 911. It's like, especially nowadays, it's such a, because listen, I've as a first responder from that aspect. I've worked on scene with police officers. I've done mutual aid where like we show up together to something, and I know really good cops. I know some really shitty ones too, you know. I've had interactions. I grew up in the hood. I've had interactions and exchanges with law enforcement that maybe we won't get into today, but we, you know, I've had my share of like, I can't fucking believe like this is law enforcement, you know. But then at the same time, like anytime you were in trouble, what are you going to do? These people that hate law enforcement, I'm not saying you do, I'm just saying people in general that like want to banish law enforcement. The first time you run into some shit, you're going to pick up your phone and call 911, right? Yep. Mm-hmm. What do you think's going to show up? Who do you want to show up? You want a cop to show you. Hopefully that good cop shows up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny that you
Anything else?
mentioned.
No, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think it's funny you mentioned that the same people that, cry defund the police and get rid of them and somebody
Yeah.
else. I saw a video the other day of a gentleman. He's standing out front of his convenience store, I think it was, and it's when all the riots are going on and everything. And this man's just trying to protect his business, his livelihood. So he brought a chainsaw out, and all these people that were screaming defund the police and get rid of them. All he did was kind of, like scrape it against the pavement so sparks went flying, and he told them to fuck off and get away from his store. And everybody's like, call the police! Oh my God, we need police! 20 minutes ago, they were screaming that they should defund them and get rid of them. And I think the world's just a completely crazy place right now. Mm-hmm. I have high hopes that it turns around and everybody figures out some way to get through some of these issues that, honestly should have been solved a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And there's really no need for any of the problems that we have, especially something like that gentleman passing away due to negligence of police officers, or, it's just time for everybody to be a little bit better human beings. We can mm-hmm. make the world a better place. We all know that we have the ability to do that. It's just time for people to actually take that initiative. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think what people need is, like, obviously now we're kind of touching on like what the riots and stuff have come down to, but it's not police officers. It was one individual, and it's, and unfortunately it just takes one individual to tarnish an entire system. Really, yeah. Mm-hmm. That's absolutely crazy. It only takes one bad apple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been amazing to see the side effect. I mean, I know it affected up here in Canada. I know it's affected the United States. It's affecting the entire world. Mm-hmm. 2020 seems to be the year where we have global problems. COVID was a global problem. We shut everything down. Now we have this movement to, try and right the wrongs of the past. And it just seems like 2020 is the year where we're trying to get rid of all the old bullshit we don't need to put up with anymore.
Old, dude. We got murder hornets. We got aliens.
Yeah.
Nobody's touching on the aliens.
I know.
They admitted that there's UFOs. They
the U.S. government was like, that was aliens, and like nobody, like, I saw it. I think Joe Rogan posted about it, and I was like, why is no one freaking out and talking about this?
Because everybody's kept up their ass talking about other shit and like focus on like race wars and all that. No, homie, Independence Day, like shit's about to go down. You aren't paying attention.
Yeah,
and then did you guys get that recently that they acknowledged UFOs? Because they did that up here in Canada, but when they did it on the Canadian news, they were like, "Oh yeah, here's a bunch of these declassified files. Anyway, UFOs are real. Anyway, now 9 o'clock news. Timmy lost a tooth."
Exactly. They just they dropped it like all nonchalantly, like in the conversation,
Yeah. No, I'm
like 30 seconds.
Yeah, honestly, it's like the fact that like that happened, like the U.S. government like acknowledged that and nobody said anything about it, like is like a clear piece of evidence like of how wild 2020 has been. Like the fact that they just confirmed aliens just casually like that and it's not like all over the news shows like how much is going on like so far this year.
Well, because what it does too is it further emphasizes how easy it is to like how people are sheep and you can misguide them and direct them in any way you want. Mm-hmm. A prime example of this is like in the UFC, anytime a fighter that is a superstar like a John Jones or a Conor McGregor, we're going to use them as examples because they're superstars and they have had trouble with the law or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Why are they still fighting? Because the UFC is really good about brushing it under the rug by bringing you other news and other information and just burying that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So when you keep people busy and distracted, basically the media can always keep you the attention's wherever they want it to be. Mm-hmm. But once you watch in this hand while this hand's doing this, so it's like, oh, there's aliens. But by the way,
Yep.
It's the worst magician act possible.
But it's exactly how it goes down. It's exactly how it goes down. Yep. It's just misdirection. It's misdirection at all times.
Yep.
if you were to take a guess of with the alien thing, I mean, because I think even in the UK they just recently came out and said aliens are real. And one thing that truly tickles me pink inside, tickles my heart, is when I see those memes online. I don't know if you've seen it, where it's all the aliens standing around in a circle and they have their hands up like this, and they're like, "Oh my God, we're up next."
Yeah.
2020 is already a fucking shit show. So, I died laughing seeing that, but in all honesty,
I don't think we got to worry about it, dude. I truly think this. Now, this is me assuming that an alien race is a superior species, like life form, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There is no fucking reason for a superior species to come to the Earth and want anything to do with it.
Yep.
Not you know what I'm saying? We're destroying the planet. We're killing each other off. I would drive by and be like, they can have that bitch. Just keep going.
Thank you. Yeah, honestly, like motherfuckers are stealing toilet paper. Like, nah, I don't want that. Like that's stupid. Like they're so like primitive and basic.
Aliens are riding up and they're like, check that shit out. The motherfuckers wild, bro. We out.
I always thought that they came down to Earth and we were just like the white monkeys in the zoo, and they just like came down and they're like, "Oh, let's see what these fucking idiots! Oh my God, I can't believe he did it!" Like I thought that was.
I mean, the only thing we're missing is videos of us just like eating our own shit and throwing it at each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, pretty much. And let me tell you, from the job I have done as a paramedic, people do that as well.
Right, so. I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah. Oh. Well, I think I remember there was that challenge a couple years ago that like kind of became a meme, like people like throwing like a piece of cheese like at their baby's face, and like such a random stupid thing to do, but like somehow it just caught on.
It's like that Joe Rogan.
You never know. You never know what's going to catch on.
Yeah, facts. Scott, what were you saying?
I was saying it's like that Joe Rogan bit. The aliens come by and they're like, "Why the fuck do we want anything to do with these people? They're dyeing their skin orange. They're throwing cheese at each other. Fucking Bruce Jenner's a woman. It's just fucking craziness."
It's absolutely insane, man. It's amazing that like our and I hate to claim to be a part of the species, but our species has what really differentiates us from other species is that we have such free will, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But look what we've done with it. Look what we've done with it. When you look at the grand picture of things, like not what we should have done with it. Hopefully I hope that there's more. I have greater hope for us, for my kids' sake. Our generation, our lifetime is fucked. All we can do is prepare for our kids and their kids to make the world better,
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the goal of any parent, essentially, once you become a parent, is you realize that what you're doing is no longer for you, it's for them. So when you see those old pictures of, somebody planting a tree and they're like, "Why are you taking the time to grow this tree?" And then it shows like their grave beside the tree and their kid taking an apple off the tree, and the kid like looking at the tree and being like, "Thanks, Dad." You get it a little bit more. It wasn't for you, it was for him. And the time and effort that was put in was for the future, not the present.
Well, that's the thing, because like the damage that is being caused right now is so fast and hard and it's radical, right? Mm-hmm. But change, like true change, like positive change, is not. There really isn't anything that's gonna. There's no magic. Okay, there's no magic. The snap of the fingers, right? No Thanos, right? That's gonna just like is gonna make the world just better again. In order for the world to be better and be what it can be, it's unfortunately painstakingly gradual and over time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You have to be consistent with that change, right? Like a prime example, and not to get too crazy right now with our talk, is like the riots and stuff. What they're doing is it's taking racial divide back like over 100 years. Like we're talking about 100 years worth of change and accomplishments being wiped off. That's terrible, man. So you have to be consistent with the change and keep that going.
Yeah, it is weird that in 2020 a thing like the riots going on is, still a problem. It seems like we've had plenty of time to figure this out.
Yeah.
It's hard to believe that it's still a thing, man. But I mean, obviously it is. The reality is it
Yeah.
is. So what it is as we put a Band-Aid over it instead of actually fixing the problem. And anytime you do that, it's just eventually that Band-Aid's going to fall off, and then we're going to start seeing the problem again. You know, and that's where we're at.
Yeah, that's a great analogy. I mean, it really is like a scraped knee that isn't healing properly, that you just could keep putting a Band-Aid over, and then you take the Band-Aid off and you're like, oh, fuck, it's still a mess. Oh, well, I'll just put another Band-Aid over top.
Right. Racism and the lopsidedness of equality has been there. We've just been like, there's been a blind over it saying, oh, no, it's there. It's there. It's there. But now the blind's gone. It's like, oh, I guess it's still there. you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I talked to my parents about this earlier. Like, I wish the world was a little bit more fair, because I can only imagine the technological advancements we could have made, the jumps of the civilization we could have made. It would have been much interesting to see 2020 without the petty bullshit of the old boys club or the old taught ways that really do nobody any good anymore.
No, absolutely, man. Well, all we can do is we have no choice, guys. You got to ride it out and just see what happens.
Fair enough. I mean, that is really all you can do in life. All you can do is ride it out and hope for the best. I know that both Jordan and I have been talking about just how 2020, the whole year, has been pretty crazy and whatnot. And as far as life goes in 2020, one thing that again I take back from this is the support group that we've built. And even in like 2020 has been a fairly dark time for most people, there's still that ability to find some form of light and come out of this positive.
For sure. Part of that comes from, like you were saying, the support group is.
I guess I'm saying from the support group for us, just is a situation for us, but in 2020 in general, the adversity that people have been faced has caused them to grow in certain ways for certain individuals. I can't speak for everybody, but it's nice to see people step out of their comfort zone. People are doing new things now that they weren't doing a year ago because they were forced to change.
Yeah, like I never thought I'd be doing a podcast like last year, or like even at the beginning of this year. Like, I would have never thought that I would be sitting on a podcast, like talking to people that I've never met in person, like about all kinds of different things. It's just that's what's happened this year, which has been really, really cool to see.
Go with it, man. Just go with it. See where it takes you. You know, because as long as your intentions are genuine and you just try and stay positive, the adventure is worth it. You know?
For sure.
Yeah, I guess I can say from my point of view anyways, 2020 has been an odd year in the sense of like, I've kind of watched the rest of the world fall apart, but my life has come together in a really weird way. Nothing super negative has happened. I mean, yeah, things have definitely changed, but the way that it was dealt with, the way that it was handled, led it to be a much more positive experience than somebody that would just go, oh, I lost my job. Oh, this person was mean to me. Oh, man. Well, that sucks. I just decided that with whatever was going to happen, I'm like, okay, well, if this is what's happening, what do I do now? Didn't get upset or distraught about it. It was just try and find something else to fill my time, and eventually this will turn into something. I've been trying to start a podcast for years. I mean, you guys know this. When we all started the group together several months ago, I tried to start a podcast, and it was called A Few Words with Dad. And it didn't quite have the right feel for it for me. And then there was something missing. And I always thought like I could do everything on my own. Like we talked about social media earlier, and how you're in charge of your marketing, you're in charge of your content, you're in charge of how everything comes off and the presentation of it. And it can be a really difficult job. And I believe that was the biggest part for me in 2020, was realizing that as much as I wanted to be a single team player, I needed Jordan to be able to be the organized one that comes in and goes, hey man, we're going to make sure it's scheduled for this time, this time, this time. Oh shit, that doesn't work. Okay, we'll do this. You know, have that other mindset involved that helps you out. and really become a team. 2020 has been a team year for me, really understanding that you can get a lot done on your own, but it's better when you work with other people that are like-minded.
You can only accomplish so much. Yeah. To grow, you eventually, if you want to, you can do it on your own. But if you want to grow, you need a team. You need a team.
Absolutely. And like I was saying, I think the growth only went so far until we were able to hatch a few things out. A few other things fell into place. Jordan came into the picture. The support group that we have all together, the 55 of us, 53 of us, whatever there is in the clan there. You know, everybody came together and started working together. So 2020 has been a fun year in that sense for me.
For sure.
So, yeah, no, I mean, it's nice to see everybody leveling up. I mean, it's nice to see your dojos going back to business. It's nice to see that Jordan's editing skills are getting better. I found my niche, and you know, Jan is starting his ring company. Phil's fitness company's taking off. Other podcasts are going. Other YouTube channels are starting to grow. And when we all started working together, we talked about how it was going to be neat to see where this was in 3 months. And I think we're at 3 months at the 30th of this month. So with it being June, we're about, I don't know, 14 days away from that. We'll be at 3 months. I can only imagine what another 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and then we're at a year. What does that look like?
True.
About to find out.
Oh, shit. Oh.
I think we're winding down unless you guys got I mean, anything else you guys want to talk about or touch on, let me know.
Is there anything you'd like to touch on, Jordan?
I got through all my questions. We've talked about a lot.
How far are we into this thing?
3 hours and 22 minutes.
That's not bad. We're doing pretty good. One thing I wanted to ask you, Blackbelt, is, you know, I got to say, out of most gentlemen I meet in my life, I can't say are true men. You'd probably be, in my books anyway, the definition of like what a modern day man is. You're a hard worker. You do everything yourself. If you need help from your team, you ask. You're very open to share the knowledge that you have. What was it that made you such a well-rounded person in general? Just you carry yourself in such a unique way. Like nobody wants to fuck with you, but you're a super nice guy and easy to get along with, and that's really hard to find in this world. Somebody that's just like you. I guess it's the simplest way to put it.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you. If I had to narrow it down, I would probably have to say that like most people, if not everyone, is some sort of a copy or version of a role model that they looked up to.
Yeah.
You know, you'll see that the more in high school, you can see it a lot. Like when a kid's hanging out with like another kid, he starts to act a lot like that other kid, you know, or a lot of people, like when you get older, you're like, man, I'm a lot like my old man or whatever. Right. I grew up not really having a role model. So I had to create what I thought a man was. So what you see today in front of you is the coming of age of what I needed throughout my life, right? I needed a man that would, or a role model that would give me wisdom. I needed somebody that was caring. I needed somebody that was, I am the fruition of the things that I needed in my life and searched for, I believe. Yeah, man, that's what you get, you know? I didn't grow up, like I didn't necessarily have my dad too much in my life or really any like good male role models, essentially. So it's good and it's bad because like you hear that and you're like, man, that's kind of sad, dude. Like he grew up without like a male role model or whatever. But you know what that did is I had no I had nothing that I had to copy. So that means I could create my path and become what I can become. You know, I'm not a copy of anybody else. I'm myself.
Mhm.
And most of the time, that's why I don't like fit in with any other crowd, or I don't like gel with like certain people, because I'm not a sheep. I don't fall into any one category.
Mhm.
I am legitimately one of a kind, you know?
Yeah, well, I guess that's what I'm saying is even by the way you carry yourself, like you're very, uh, and you know the word special is overplayed a lot. But you're very special in the way that you come off, and you're easy to approach, and like I was saying, the knowledge that you share is right up there with just completely genuine, right? Uh, and I think maybe that's what I'm trying to hit at is you're one of the most genuine guys I've ever met. How how have you become so well at just sharing your thoughts and your feelings and everything like that? A lot of people seem to have a problem getting what they're feeling out. And the one thing that I really enjoyed about this whole conversation tonight is you're very fluid with your words. And I'm curious how you got to that point. I know some people weren't at some point, and it was either they met, like you said, a strong male role model or somebody that helped them out in life. Was there a martial arts teacher or a friend or somebody that just dropped some wisdom one day and it made a bunch of things click, or how did the process go for you?
It's just me, really. I'm a very cerebral person, so I live a lot inside of my head.
Yeah.
I'm very big into philosophies, and I'm very analytical about everything. The way I approach a conversation or a person is the same way I approach like dissecting how to learn how to do leg locks or chokes and things like that. Like I'm just constantly analyzing, deciphering, and figuring out, you know. And
Yeah.
that's just how I live my life 24/7. And I'm genuine in my expression of I guess that's, I don't know. I mean, I don't really know how to answer it. It's just basically just like, I'm just like, what you're hearing from me is my true thoughts. Like, it's not some like scripted bullshit that I thought I would say to somebody if they ever asked me that question, you know? I just, I believe in just being real. Like, I don't have time for like fake shit. I've met many people that were liars in my life. I don't have time. I dislike lying. I don't have time for liars. I don't play that shit. I'm real. And sometimes my real for some people is too harsh, and they don't know how to take it. But
Yeah.
listen, whether you like the truth or not, it's still the truth. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry to tell you, there's aliens, you know. You can deny it all you want, but truth is still truth, buddy. You know, and that's just it. Like whatever I do, I just try to be as real as possible, because the one thing I don't want to walk away from this life. I don't want anybody to ever go to my daughter, and I don't want anybody to ever behind my back say that guy's full of shit. And they can say it, but I don't want them to be able to back it up with any type of proof. You know,
I see what you're saying.
I want everyone to be like, yo, that motherfucker's real right there, bro. Like what he's saying, like he's really done that shit. Like he really does this. He really does that. Like what he's telling you, like he believes that shit. You know, it's not just bullshit, you know?
I love it. You keep the same energy through life.
Trying. Yeah.
Yeah,
Life will try to take your life force and your energy from it, especially 2020. 2020 has been trying to claim my soul. Can't get me though. I'm still going.
No, I'm hoping that 2021's like the year of partying, and we all just get to travel and meet one another, and obviously get our businesses all doing quite well. That'd be a nice change instead of 2020.
Yeah. Well, something's got to happen, you know, because it can't. You can't. Life does not forever stay on that downhill slide. Like eventually, you got to come up. You know, life is all about balance. You're gonna have good times and bad times, and I would like to believe that, like with all the nastiness and the craziness that's going on right now, that just means that like some really, really good shit is gonna start coming our way. Because you got to have those storms and that rain before the crops grow. You know?
Totally. That's a good way of thinking. That's how I like to think about it anyways as well.
It's how it needs to be, man. It's how we have to believe that. Because if you don't believe that, what are you living for? Exactly. If we think it's going to keep getting worse, then what are we doing? Why are we even having this conversation right now? We should just cease to exist. It's true. It's true.
No, I know.
You have to believe that. Why are you still going? Because we think it's going to fucking get better eventually. You know?
Yeah. Absolutely. That's hilarious. But it's so spot on. Things have to get better. Speaking of things getting better, your YouTube channel and your Instagram and everything, what's your goal with your social media and everything? What are you hoping for like a year from now, 5 years, 10 years? What do you hope it all looks like at the end?
You know, I think my goal has always been the same, is I want to do everything that I'm doing, but I want to reach a larger audience. So what does that mean? Like when I first, so the first martial arts program I had that was like just mine, that I wasn't like working out of another gym or something. I used to teach out of I had an after school martial arts program at a Christian academy.
Yeah.
And I would go after school and I would clean out their I would go early, mop the floor of their cafeteria so that it was sanitary enough for us to train on. We didn't have mats or nothing. And I would just teach kids. I would do the young kids and the high school kids, and I would have adults and stuff come after. And the kids, I became kind of like known, kind of like a celebrity around the campus, because it was a big campus. But that school at the time, like, they could take you all the way from like pre-K, like kindergarten, all the way to like going to college. So it was a huge demographic of age groups there. And I like the little kids knew me, middle schoolers knew me, high school kids knew me. And sometimes they would be like, hey, can you come by my English class? Like, I want to have you talk about like MMA or something, you know? I would go and like the kids would have me sit in on some of their classes, like debate team and stuff like that. And one of the times the kids asked me a very similar question to what you asked me. They were like, what would you want to do with like everything that you do, like all your martial arts and stuff? And I was like, honestly, everything that I'm doing right now, all this knowledge or whatever that I'm sharing with you guys, I want the whole world to know that. I want the whole world to hear me talk. And not because I want likes or because I want them to pay me. It's because I want everybody to know this shit. I want everybody to think like this so that life can flow a little bit better, you know?
That's beautiful. Life's all about flow, especially making sure it's a good flow, right?
Yeah, so I just got to hope that like my flow is good enough, but I want people to like, man, just be kinder to each other. Care about your self-defense, protecting your family, care about your health and fitness, like all the things that I preach every single day. I just want to preach it to a larger audience. That's it. And whatever comes from that comes from that. If my martial arts ability gets me in a movie where I fight Jason Statham, awesome. Let's run it. If it gets me to where I do a speaking event at Harvard or a big college, all right, well then let's do that. That whatever comes from it is fine. But what I want to do is just reach larger audiences.
Fair enough. Now, speaking of movies, you're working on one right now. What juicy little details can you share with me on this?
So I can't disclose too much about what that project is about, but it's actually not a movie. It's a music video.
Ooh.
It's a music video for a pretty big band. Like it's for a band that has a pretty good following, at least around my area and my parts. Very cool. I was I'm really good friends with people in that industry. I know people that are in the music and like modeling industry and stuff. And have a really good girlfriend of mine that she's a pretty famous and popular model. She's done a lot of work, and she's been in a couple videos, like high level, like MTV style, like music videos.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And they essentially needed a guy, and she was like, "I know this guy," and so they wanted to meet me. And then they met me, and I was just supposed to have like a very like kind of like a small part in it. But then after meeting me and doing like my scene that I did, they called me back and wanted to make my role bigger. To do more. And I was like, all right, cool, let's do it. So that's where we're at now. That's pretty. I guess that's pretty much all I can really say about it right now. But as soon as like it's done and I get to go ahead to like, I've definitely let you guys know. I mean, it's going to be pretty impressive. Like it's a very like upscale like production. It wasn't just like filming in a backyard, It's
Yeah, no, I can tell by the little clips that I've seen here and there, and just like the little bit, like it looks good. And I've been sitting here and I'm like, what's he working on, man? Like, I need to know. It looks good, whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah. So my understanding is the director of it told me it's going to be about a month to edit it and like to get it like completely like done. Right. And then once they do that, we're gonna have like a red carpet premiere. Like we're gonna rent out like a pretty big like car, like a club or bar here in like it's called the South Tampa area. It's pretty popular like party area.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're gonna have a big event where they're gonna have like Blackbelt on the big screen, and they're gonna like it's gonna be pretty dope, man. So I'm looking forward to that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's just a blessing to be able to participate in that, you know. And it's all from just those opportunities were presented from me being just me, being genuine, you know, because I don't work for a modeling agency, bro. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I don't have an agent. That's just people knowing me and being like, yo, look at this guy. Like he does some shit, dude, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
And hopefully it's leading to other projects, because they've already come to me about like some other stuff that they want to do, kind of more action based.
Okay.
And I was like, I could do action based. So we'll see. We'll just see where it goes. Wherever it goes, I'm happy and fortunate that I was even able to do that in my lifetime. So
fair enough. That is a super cool experience to be able to be a part of a music video and just involved in that industry in general. One thing I wanted to ask you about is I know that you've recently joined the Bearded Villains of Tampa Bay. How has that been for you?
So that is absolutely amazing. I think that kind of ties in well to when we were just discussing a little bit ago about how I didn't have the like the role models in my life, you know. So when you don't have that type of connection and role models, and even throughout your life, if you do have those things, you always it's in our DNA, it's in our genetic makeup to want to be part of a tribe. Right? It's in our instincts. We want to be part of a tribe. That's why people flock towards riots. That's why they go towards racism. They want to be part of something. They feel you just have a sense of completeness when you belong to something, right?
Yeah.
Well, the Bearded Villains is all about that. Not about racism and riots, you know. It's all about that shit, dude. No, it's all about that tribe mentality, that like true brotherhood, and that's what it's all about. And that's something that like, especially through my life, that I've been missing for a long time in my life. And because the genuineness, that's what's missing from society in general. There's a lack of genuineness from a lot of people.
Yes.
These people are genuine. You know, this is all about like there's no money that you pay to get into it. You have to be like voted in. Like the people have to want you in, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're a millionaire. It doesn't matter if you're a senator. It doesn't matter if you operate a garbage truck. It doesn't matter if you work at a gas station. They're looking for genuine people to get up in there. You know.
Yeah.
And, so once you get in there, it's like it's a true brotherhood, and you have each other's back. You know, and the mission statement is just it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, so like me personally, I'm a hopeful. I'm like I'm a prospective member right now. I'm not in. You can't just get in. Like I said, you can't buy your way in. You can't. You have to like they have to over time have you become one. You know, you become one. You don't buy into it. There's no shortcuts to becoming it. They have to see you as a good candidate and want you to be part of this movement. You know.
Yeah. It sounds like an amazing experience. It sounds like a bunch of great guys. I mean, I remember seeing what you went down and did there by cleaning up the headstones and everything, and I just thought that was a mighty kind and generous thing that you guys did. Very honorable on your part, for sure.
Man, that's what it's all about. So like that was for Memorial Day. We went down and we cleaned up it was a veterans cemetery. We cleaned up the headstones a little bit, and then we put American flags down. I forgot how many, like a couple hundred American flags or whatever we put down for the headstones. And even before that, like with me personally, with my gym, Blackbelt Fitness and Martial Arts Club, I would always be looking for charities and things to participate in.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Hurricane Dorian came, my gym members, I had everybody bring clothes, food, things like that, and we took it to a hurricane relief plant to like have a private plane to have it flown over.
Mm-hmm.
In Tampa, I have a close relationship with it's a center called Gigi's Playhouse.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a center that is specifically for children and adults with Down syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And I go through there every once in a while, and I put on like a self-defense class for them. And like I'll do like we'll put them through a workout, and I've always been looking for a way to like give back and do things, right? Yeah. And I don't do it for attention. Like I don't even advertise it a lot when I do it. You know, we just do it. And now with like being with the Bearded Villains, I can do that on a bigger scale, a larger scale now, because it's not just me and like my students or whatever. Like now I can get in with things with these guys in order to do things. Like we did that thing for Memorial Day. Since being, you know, with them as a hopeful, I've done that. I've been a part of 2 fundraisers for like one of the Bearded Villains in another state had a stroke. So we raised money for him and his family to help pay for hospital bills. That's when I did the 50 pull-ups online was for him. I've kids. There are kids in the community that look to us kind of like we're superheroes, and I've sent out birthday cards to kids I don't even know that they come from like kind of like needy homes, you know. They're unfortunate, you know, misfortune, and like just a birthday, like a Batman birthday card makes a difference to that in that kid's life, you know.
Totally, man.
Just stuff like that, bro. You know.
That's heart touching. God damn, awesome. That's a nice thing to do. I'm not gonna cry on this podcast, but I might.
That's what I want. That's what I genuinely want, bro. I want the world to be a better place. I want when I'm gone, when people speak of me or when they come, you know, when they talk to my daughter, they're like, hey, you know, your dad used to do some shit. Like he did some crazy shit. Like your dad was a good man. I just want to leave being known as a good man, you know.
That's fucking amazing. You know, I don't know. I guess that was part of the question earlier was like genuinely like, what are you working towards over the next few years? And I think you just hit the nail on the head there. That's the answer I was looking for, is like just what kind of a human being you are all through and through, right? Like you want the world to be a better place. And I think that's at the core of who you are. And that's one thing that I really enjoy about knowing you and the company that we have together, is that genuinely every time we interact or you interact with anybody within the group or anybody that you know around you, you're always looking to make it better. It's whether it's making them laugh, making them feel good about themselves. The one thing I've noticed is that you never leave a conversation on a negative note. It's always ended with love and respect and admiration for your fellow peers. And my man, I wish people would learn a little bit more from you just by watching.
I appreciate that, man. I truly appreciate that. I don't do anything. Nothing I do is like attention seeking. I'm never doing anything like look at me, you know.
No, I never is.
I just do what I do, bro. And it's awesome to hear your interpretation of it, of what I do. You know?
Yeah, no, as far as I can tell, and from everything that we've, you know, worked together on, and, you know, I just feel like every time Blackbelt is involved in anything, it makes the experience that much better. So, I mean, just nothing but love and respect to you, my man. That was pretty epic shit to hear just now. I wish the whole human race would make the world a better place before they took off and, you know, their time was gone or whatever it was. But it makes me glad knowing that there's people like you out there doing exactly that.
Starts with us, man. You have to. Gandhi said it, man. You have to be the change you wish to see in the world. It starts with you. You got to be the change first. Let people see you. You be that example. I didn't have that example, so I became that example. I'm going to be that example for other people, and then you're going to be that example, and it's going to keep being passed on. You know. That's
right. Eventually, the world will be a better place.
That's it, and they'll know martial arts.
And they'll know martial arts. Is there anything else you gentlemen want to touch on? I think it's going to be hard to leave on a more positive note than that one right there. Anything you want to touch on, Jordan?
Well, if there's nothing else, I can just do my usual like beard struggle spiel, like discount codes and links and all that stuff.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Yeah.
We can. There's always. I listen. I love doing this. I appreciate it. It was amazing for me to be able to connect and talk with you guys, and for you guys to give me an opportunity to utilize your platform to hopefully let more of the world know who I am and what I'm about. And maybe some people will think I'm full of shit, and some people will be like, "Man, that guy's kind of dope." Either way, I still got love for him. But the ones that think I'm dope, I love them a little more. I'm not gonna lie. So
That's all good.
yeah, hopefully, we'll do this again, and we'll have many more talks. And this will you guys doing a great job, and it will keep. This will continue to grow. It will be more organized, and you guys will have more of a flow to what you're doing. But I think you guys are onto something that is very genuine and organic. So I like it. I'm a fan of it.
Amazing.
I appreciate
Thanks so much.
that. Thank you. Yeah, we're hoping that everything will get a little bit more smooth in the future. This is what, episode 3 or 4 that we've done?
3. This is 4.
4.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're only 4 in. We both know that each and every time we do this, there's a couple things we correct and fix as we go, and it's just a learning process. So the next time you'll be on here, it'll be another experience from the one you experience now. But thank you so much for your positive words, my friend. It's been amazing having you.
Hey, I loved it. I'll hang with you guys any day.
Amazing.
So much love to you, brother. Jordan, your spiel of beard struggle and stuff.
Yeah, so if you guys want to check out any of Blackbelt stuff that he's doing, I'll have everything linked down below, along with his social media pages and all that stuff, as well as his beard struggle discount link if you want to go support him and check out some awesome beard care products, as well as our social medias and where we keep you updated on what's going on with the podcast and share clips and teasers and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's all from me. Thanks for watching.
All right. Thank you, everybody. This is one of those heated beard brushes. All of our discount codes will get you 15% off, so run over there. Support your favorite person on here. If you love Team Jordan because he's innocent and sweet, I understand. If you love Team Blackbelt because he's just a straight up badass, no hard feelings. If you love me because I'm sick and twisted, Team Scott, feel free for it. I can't talk anymore. We've been doing this for 6 hours today.
Yeah, facts. Good stuff.
All right. Thanks, everybody.